All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Eldrin said he might not be here tonight, so I think this is the crew. The recording is started, so feel free to talk shit on the record about Eldrin.
Oh, Eldrin, what a...
What do you know what? You
No.
know.
You weren't here the last 2 weeks. You don't know anything.
I was here last week.
I was right. Nope, you're right. Sorry.
And I recorded everything, and Josh, I think, at least skimmed the recording, so he's fairly up to speed.
Yeah, I did.
Did you hear all the times we talked shit on you?
All the times.
It's quite a few.
All the times. Yeah. And I won't forget.
Okay.
Just remember.
We all enjoyed that very much.
I still think the "shut up, non-cath" was the best line.
Shut up, Nomcath. God, that was priceless. Priceless. That whole scene, I just want to like frame that scene and call it Eldrin's first beer.
Yeah, that was good. Good RP.
Yep. Well, let's see. Tracy's not in Foundry, or if he is, he's not really in it. He thinks he is.
It's taking time to load.
Okay. There he is.
I am using your beloved Opera GX. So.
Oh, no. You'll still have some bugs. It'll just be a little bit less.
I like it so far.
I do too. I'm not ready to like switch to it for a main browser, but I'm getting pretty used to it for Foundry stuff.
I still haven't had hardly any problems using Foundry and Chrome.
Yeah. Depends a lot on your hardware, your processor, your computer's general power level. It's kind of random. All right. So last time we talked about a bunch of different things. We talked about, I think, McGinnis and Nomcath going camping. I think that's been happening over the last few days, possibly. You guys have like a week to waste in this town. She resolved to wait until Tokala's weapon was done.
Or we'll never hear him. He'll never stop bitching about. Well, if only I had my real sword here.
Yeah. No, I can see that endless bitching is a possibility there.
Yeah, that would definitely happen.
Send a man out into the world with a masterwork greatsword. He's gonna be sad.
I mean, this is all right. Only.
This is pretty good. Well, Josh, it sounds like they're coming to get you.
Yeah, the world is burning here in Nashville.
I figure McGinnis just wants to get out, get on the open range, get some breathing room, sit around a campfire. You know, don't need to go into details, but that's what he would be doing.
And Nomcath is basically keeping him company. He's fine in the smaller towns and staying in there, but he understands the open range and kind of stuff too. So just to make sure, you know, he's McGinnis isn't alone, Nomcath will keep him company.
Okay.
Sweet.
Also,
Very
make
nice.
sure he doesn't get totally bored and wander off.
He might. You never know. These humans, they kind of have short attention spans. Let's see if this campsite map still works. Been like, no. Move you guys over to this. Oh yeah, it works fine. Mute my main browser. Obviously, not everybody comes along, but the campground you'll notice is slightly improved. The bushes now blow in the wind. I know that's a big deal to all of you.
Immersion.
Immersion.
Oh, yeah, there is a little bit of movement there.
Yeah. Go check out the tree. There's a lot of movement. The tree to the north. Yeah. Don't be afraid.
How is it?
Cool mod.
How is it when we've traveled for weeks across the place here, weeks in Scrapwall, and every single time we camp by a cliff?
Because I'm super lazy. I actually have a couple other chunks of. I mean, all the junk is gone. It's clearly not Scrapwall anymore. See, this map, Josh. just to fill you in, Josh, this literally is the same cliff I've been using for 7 levels. And this is the GM equivalent of lipstick on a pig. I've put some animated bushes
Nice.
on it. And I'm like, hey guys, new camp map. What do you think? And of course, nothing about it. They're even in the same spot on the map.
But we have bedrolls now.
Your bedrolls, your wagons here. I almost put out tents, but then I think McGinnis wanted kind of a more roughing it experience. Sleep under the stars, so to speak.
Honestly, I see that comment as more of a, in character, introspective, watching the stars. Like, how is it we always can't buy a cliff?
Well, the canon reason, the canonical reason is that, Numeria is just a really broken land. Lots of cliffs and ravines and such. All right, let's hop back to the main here. And so some camping occurs. Some fine dining and sitting around in your home hot tub probably occurs. Many a fine meal are cooked by Reginald. In fact, he'll even send you out on your camping trip with some very nicely packed trail rations.
Nice.
Yeah. He's made some beef jerky caviar for you somehow. It's an old family recipe. And you guys, yeah. You guys continue to kind of enjoy your celebrity status in this town. Everybody knows who you are. Lots of little kids want to talk to you, or random people want to say hey and shoot the shit, talk about crazy stuff. It's been long enough that the town now wants to occasionally discuss the massive battle that happened in the streets and ask you tough questions like, do you think that purple-haired lady's really gone straight, or is she just going to kill us all if they let her out? Stuff like that. And the other thing you hear is that there's been lots of noise and coming and going and smoke pouring out of Dolga's foundry.
Can I spend a little bit of time questioning Mayanda about the sister of I can't even remember his name now. The guy who's infecting my head.
Hellion?
Hellion?
The fella.
That's the fella?
Hellion.
Well,
His sister. I saw an image of her, but I don't know much more than that.
let's see. Let's go over here to the Torch City Jail. And when you get here, Mayanda is not here, which is a little disturbing. But shortly after you get here, she, again, still in loose manacles. Her manacles have like a 3-foot chain, so she can actually use both of her hands, but she is still clearly a prisoner. And she is still in a little prisoner type outfit. She walks in holding the guardsman's mace for him as he opens the door for her and lets her in here. And she hands the mace back to him and says something about pulling the entire handle apart and rebuilding it because he's just worn it out and you've beat too many people with this. And he's like, all right, well, maybe next week. She says, sure. She gets back in her cell and they shut the door. And the guard goes, oh, sorry, she's back now.
I've been waiting for you down here.
She says, do you like it down here?
I mean, I've been casting Create Water repeatedly on Sandville over there. That was pretty funny.
So Sandville's like a drowned rat in his cell over here. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
She says, what can I help you with, Tokala?
Well, Eldrin and I talked about things, and he told me to dig a little deeper, look for Hellion in my mind. And when I did, I saw him, but I saw someone else. I think it's Hellion's sister. Do you know anything about her?
I was told by Hellion that she escaped their father before he did. Their father has some plans for the world, and it requires leaving his fortress. And so he asked his daughter to go out into the world and sort of spread his religion and get some things for him, learn some things, and she stole something very valuable from him, something very important, not completely sure what, and ran away. And he sent an army of gearsmen. And she says, if the only gearsmen you've ever seen were the ones under torch, she has a little set of chalk on the floor in her cell. And she sits by the bars and picks up a chalk and reaches through the bars and draws on the floor next to your feet, kind of the shape of a gearsman. It's sort of rough and crude, but you get the idea, right? Like it's a little wide-shouldered, square-bodied robot with little beady red eyes, right? Quit it,
Alright.
Foundry. Quit it. She says this is like a under torch gearsman. That's how big they are. And I have seen a sketch, and I have seen some information that Hellion gave me about the other gearsmen that the father has. And they are more like building sized with 8 legs on each side and a giant laser tail and huge eyes, and flame comes out the front. And they would not fit in this room. They're massive.
So bigger than the body that Hellion was in.
Yes. Hellion was in a small combat chassis, is what that's called. And there's something else the father has called annihilators. And they're huge. There's even some myths about them in the people of Numeria, about these giant building-sized robots that scurry across the land looking like massive scorpions and scooping people up and running off. So he sends all his worst stuff after her, and she escapes them, eludes them for a long time, maybe years, several years. But they do catch up with her, and we were never able to find anything else out about her other than she went southwest towards Yadenvey or something like that, and that's the last she's been seen or heard from. So
Do you
that's where I
know-
was going to pick up the trail.
Do you know her name?
Hellion calls her Cassandali.
Alright. Maybe next time I see her, I can say her name and it'll get her attention. Maybe.
You could try. She says, are you having nightmares about different deities that you don't have any connection to?
I am. Most of them seem normal, but I was surprised to connect to her.
She says, for me, it's like I'm walking into a room and there's a round table with 12 seats at it, and I see the giant horned burning-eyed devil that is Hellion at one of them very clearly, and then I see a number of other figures at every other chair, but I can't quite focus on them. But I know they're different. They're other people. That's what I've been getting.
You know what's strange? It's like Hellion's not really dead. It's like he's trapped in pieces inside of us.
She says, you're partly right. She says, divine magic doesn't necessarily work the way most people think it does. She says, you were a priest of Gorham when we met in battle in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you think of yourself as that still.
Of course.
Well, but no one ever gave you a book about Gorham or told you to follow Gorham. Your people have legends about him, but you didn't really know much about him.
No, and to be honest, my tribe is, peaceful. Never really supported Gorham, but
She says, then how did you come to this?
other wastelanders spoke of a god of war, and
One day you just put down your shovel and picked up a greatsword?
no, I was a protector of my people, and But the connection to Gorham came after a tragic event. I shouldn't speak too much on it with you, but
Fair enough. She says,
So-
so what happened to you, if I may guess, is that you had nothing to do with Gorham other than some small amount of knowledge. But then something came into your life that gave you the choice of run away, lay down and die, or fight. And you chose fight.
yes, and Gorham seemed to like that. His power came to me in that moment and
She's-
gave me the power to fight.
She says, well, I was born in fire. I woke up in a small glass tube barely bigger than my body, and I had to smash my way out of it. And I saw others in glass tubes who were being burned alive inside, and a bunch of bandits leering at me like I was a piece of loot. And then I saw burning red eyes and a screen on the wall, and I looked into them and they looked into me, and I looked back at the filthy bandits that wanted to take me as a slave, and I said no. And a panel on the wall opened up strangely, and there was a silver pistol. I picked it up and I killed them all with it. And Hellion was with me ever since after that. But it was a choice I made to fight, to kill, to stand in the middle of a burning place and take the time to murder everyone that had threatened me. That's what drew Hellion to me. That's what brought me in tune with him. And so it's not scholarly, it's not study that brought you there, Tokala. It's the choice you made. And so I think if you make certain choices, you might reconnect fully with Gorham. What Helium's done to you has really left your mind scrambled and confused. Makes it more difficult for you to focus. But I think you'll heal in time.
It's funny. I talked to the old priest in town, and you have helped me far more than he did. Thank you. And Takala will reach his hand through the bar and offer her a handshake.
Okay? She takes it.
He shakes her hand warmly and says, I did put a good word in for you, you know. I think there's good that you can do.
She says, while holding your hand, she looks into your eyes and says, I'm sorry about your friend. We met on the battlefield and she died.
Oh, she knew full well what happens when you go into battle. I don't think even she would hold it against you.
Maybe not. She was clearly the greater threat than anything else we encountered. She lets go of your hand.
And with that, he'll just nod and be on his way.
Okay. Back to the town. Also, unless you guys change your minds, and I don't think you're going to, they plan to hang Sandville tomorrow.
Works for me.
Yep.
Can you put the name of that deity in the text real quick so I can make sure to get the spelling right?
Hellion and his sister Cassandra. They only know their father as Unity. They don't know much else.
That's a darn pretty name for a lady. I hope she has a sweet disposition.
Well, her brother really
Anything
didn't.
like her brother, I expect not.
Might be a crazy murderous monster like her brother.
Might be the complete opposite.
Who knows?
Won't know until I find her.
Well, if nothing else needs to happen that night, do any of you care to attend the hanging?
Hell yeah.
Sure.
Okay. A lot of the town turns out for it. There's some bloodthirsty things yelled, but Connor silences those folk and says, "This is justice. This is law. This is not about blood. This isn't even revenge. This is just about what this man did to our community and what we're going to do about it." And then he turns and guards knock the blocks out from under Sandville's perch and he hangs. Lengthen the rope? What?
If the rope is too long, it'll pop the head off.
Oh God. That's you tell him that he's shocked. He's like, "Oh yeah, that used to happen all the time. We had to shorten it."
I know you know your trade, hangman.
We
I'm just saying it would be funny.
Oh, you want to be Jesus. Okay.
A little surprise for the town folk, you know. It always went well back in what's the name of that little town?
Which one?
The one that we're going to go to that hates
Yadenvey? Yeah.
Yadenvey. It always went over well in Yadenvey.
Oh, the
Hang
heads
that
popping
lot-
off. Torch
got
does not
lots of-
hang that many people, but Yadenvey
lot-
does.
Got a lot of laughs with that one.
Oh God. The
Like
guards
a
say.
practical joke.
The
you know?
guards say, "I hear they hang a lot of people down there."
They do. They do.
Phew. Tough community. They don't do that much in Torch, so they don't get that many opportunities. Okay. Couple more days pass. Any other special requests? Any other needs?
I'm good.
Sandville
we're
Trent
good.
is dead. Let me.
How about getting my sister and Ola here? What's the best way to do that? Do I need to make a trip back to Scrapwall or?
You could. There are caravans now that things are restored, that are going back and forth. So over the last couple of weeks, you could have sent word that direction.
Yeah, would have done that.
Okay. Well, in that case, by now they could have actually arrived. So they show up with, let's see. Where is your manor house, gentlemen? Here it is. Torch. Ulrith Manor. Incidentally, you guys can always rename it. It doesn't have to be Ulrith Manor anymore. But, you know. Okay, get the whole party in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ulfred, way over here. Get over here. All right. But yeah, your friends, Kua and Ulla, show up on the next caravan and are overjoyed to see you and glad to see a friendly city that doesn't. The people of Torch tend to stare at you guys, especially when the three of you are standing together. But they're not mean, and they understand very well that Olbrin is an ally of their saviors. So you're treated pretty well here. This town never learned to hate the Drow, and so it now has Drow friends. So you are this town's 3 black friends.
Nice.
They
I
kind
would
of
introduce him.
they kind of treasure you, especially once the girls start to perform and do their bard stuff.
Yeah, I'd introduce him to Connor and do that whole bit. Make sure they're set up in the casino or gambling hall, whatever it is.
The casino will be renovated someday when I go attack all the bugs and flaws in that map. For now, it's still under literal and in-game renovation.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they can play at the Foundry Tavern. They can stay here at the house. There's plenty of extra rooms. And they're amazed that you have a butler. And they have news. One of Kua pulls aside Takala and says, I thought you should know this, but your friend, quote unquote friend, Chug, has been relocated to the Pit Tavern. He's now the bartender there instead of at the arena.
That's wonderful news. I mean, he and we came to blows last time, and but I hold no grudges.
Assume the rest of the party just rolls their eyes at this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm pretty drunk. It was a little embarrassing, but Chug, you know, he seemed in a good mood when we left.
All right. Well, while you guys are having dinner, Reginald is serving something that he calls Numerian duck. But you guys have been eating here for a couple weeks and it's been fantastic. But you've learned that when he calls something Numerian blank, that means it's not what he says it is. He's just trying to make it seem like that.
Huh.
What's a duck?
Exactly, sir. And he storms off into the kitchen quickly.
It's something you do to get under something.
Yes, that's what I thought, Alfred.
Dinvaya walks in and says, that's exactly the sort of dinner conversation I expected to find here. And she has some blackened soot on her face. She has clean spots around her eyes where clearly she's been wearing goggles. But she is extremely filthy. It looks like she has like maybe engine grease on one hand. It's kind of caked and discolored, and she looks okay, but absolutely filthy. And with her dirty hands, she picks up a couple of dinner rolls and stuffs them in her face and says, it's ready tomorrow if you want to come see it.
Yes, of course, but you look tired. Why don't you sit and join us? I'm sure Alfred would enjoy your company.
There's plenty of duck.
She looks at it and sniffs it, grabs like a piece of meat with her fingers, and sniffs it and says, that's not duck. Then she eats it.
We've learned when a meal is prefaced as a Numerian something, it's better to not ask.
She says that's all the food in Scrapwall. It's better to not ask. Good thing the Smilers never invite anybody over for dinner, huh? Not to eat.
Ugh.
Yeah, she partakes. And she says, all right, couple more things to do, so I'm going to go. But she rolls up a bunch of food in a napkin and just sort of bundles it up like that and walks out.
So, if your weapon's going to be ready tomorrow, do we want to plan to head out tomorrow as well?
I like that idea.
Oh yeah, let's get on the road.
Have we gotten all the supplies we need? I mean, it's going to be a bit of a trip.
Reginald says, I took the liberty of loading your chariot with some trail rations and extra water rations. So, and
Attaboy, Reggie.
he puts a hand on McGinnis' shoulder. He says, sir, not to interfere with your rugged lifestyle, but I've also enclosed some tents. You understand this word, tent?
Oh sure. People love those.
Quite
Good thinking.
optional, though, I assure you. You
You're really
just-
on top of things, Reggie. I like that.
could always have the option of just rolling around in the dirt like an ape. And he walks out.
Mm-hmm. All right, go back to the kitchen.
I like Reginald.
Okay.
Toby, would there be a place in town where I might find an efficient quiver?
This town?
Probably not.
Maybe. We'll do a little, let me see. Let me look at our shops here.
He has had like a week to ask around.
Yeah. And there's trade caravans coming and going. Yeah. All right. Give me a 1 to 100, Josh. 1 to 50. An efficient quiver has come through Torch, and you can buy it for book price.
1 to 50.
Roll me a 1d100.
Okay.
You want 1 to 50. No. Fuck you.
Okay.
That's a total fuck you, because that's a 98.
Yeah.
Not yet, but it's still quite possible.
Have I found any wands while scouring about town?
That we can also check on. If there's first level spell wands you want, you might be able to get those pretty easily. Like if you guys need Cure Light wands or Infernal Healing wands or anything like that.
Yeah, both of those would be good.
Okay.
We seem to get hurt a lot.
Yes, I've noticed that too. Let's see, the Temple of Bry shop. I'm just gonna plop this in the middle of the dinner table, which is a little disturbing, but you guys should be able to double click it, and let's look at what is available here. Cure. There is a Cure Light wand available. There's even a Cure Mod wand. There is a Infernal Healing wand. There's a Magic Missile wand, but just to warn you, those suck because they only shoot one missile, so it does 1d4.
Yeah.
Not great. This is a decent wand, though. There is a Scorching Ray wand. Only shoots one ray, but I mean, one is 46 damage. That's expensive, though. It's 3,600 gold. Let's see. Yeah, there's a... You don't have a Mage Armor wand, do you?
No, I just cast it.
There is one for sale. I mean, they give you one more spell you don't have to think about per day. Wand of Mage Armors. They're just kind of pricey. 600 gold. That's pricey.
Okay.
Where's the price modifier set at? That's even discounted. They're normally 750.
How about the Cure Light and the Infernal Healing?
Cure Light, 600 gold. Infernal Healing, same. Cure Mod, 3,600 gold.
Okay, I'll take the Cure Light and the Infernal Healing.
Okay. Put those both on your man here.
Quick question.
Yeah.
For these level 1 wands, if
Yeah.
I was to use them using the use magic item skill, what would be the difficulty?
The difficulty is based on the level of the spell. Pathfinder, use magic device. And you'll hit a certain point with that skill where you can pretty much always do it. Use a wand is DC 20.
Okay,
So once you have
probably-
and in a lot of situations you just take 10 because as long as you're not like mid combat, you can take 10. So if you have a 10 use magic device, then you can use that wand quite a lot.
I don't have it yet, but I'm close. So you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy that second Infernal Healing wand.
Okay.
Be nice to have somebody else around, especially somebody who can get around and drop a heal on somebody if necessary.
And Josh, you said Cure Light, Infernal Healing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both
Yeah.
have 50 charges?
They do both have 50 charges. You still have 1795 gold left. And you are overweight for some reason. Oh, it's the swamp eggs. I don't think Olbrun can carry this many swamp eggs. Somebody else want them?
I'll hold on to them.
Does Nomcath have Muleback?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I'm gonna put your Olbrun swamp eggs on you then because they're pushing him into medium
That's fine.
load. Okay.
And again, the way I see it is, I am very maneuverable And if I if I have to do emergency heal somewheres, I can get there.
What is weighing you down? Hmm. Is this tattoo? No, the tattoos don't have weight, nor should they. 1 pound, 1 pound. Well, something's funny about your sheet. Dang it. I'll have to figure that out. You might actually be able to hold those.
Okay.
Because Foundry is saying that you're carrying 66 pounds, but you have nowhere near that much. Oh, it's your currency. My bad. But I'm not really concerned about currency weight. That's what it is.
Damn, son, carrying that much.
Yeah.
60 pounds of gold. I'm sorcerer. No big deal. Okay, that's fixed. You may actually have your disgusting swamp eggs back.
Yeah, give my mutant eggs back. Yeah.
Who wants to hear it? I know you do.
Oh yeah.
Those are really good, just idiot-proof healing too. By the way, you can just literally smash it on somebody's face, and the goo comes out and heals them.
Don't hear that sentence every day.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I thought, unfortunate sentence. Okay, any other business that evening?
I'm good.
Okay. Then we will go forward unto dawn. Actually, we need to pass several more days. There we go. Okay, back to Torch City. And as you guys are having breakfast that morning at your lovely manor, Connor comes in and looking really excited, and he says, well, I got a sneak peek, and I can't wait for you guys to see what they've done. It's kind of unbelievable.
Sounds promising.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, you call the carriage round?
Yeah.
Reginald, the carriage, please.
Yes, he walks out front, and you hear him say, I shall go ask the gods to summon the carriage. And he walks toward the front door, and you hear him open the front door and go, get the fucking carriage! And he walks back and, yes, it shall be round momentarily.
Reginald, you are a good man.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir.
You don't have to put on airs around us and act like all snobby. If that's the real you, be that way. We're perfectly fine with it.
He just stares at you. Seems kind of confused.
Never mind. Humans. Sorry, McGinnis.
Okay, you guys ride your luxury carriage across town to the site of Dolga's foundry.
It's probably the most polished it's ever been. The bullet hole's finally fixed.
It has
I was
been
gonna say,
fully repaired.
We probably wiped the blood off by now. I mean,
Your friends, your horses, Pugnuts and Smidgen, almost forgot their names, have gained 50 pounds each. They look like barrels with legs.
they're so cute.
And they look fluffier, their hides look healthier, they have like a nice sheen to them. Someone's been shampooing them. Not
They're
sure
probably
who.
the healthiest horses in Numeria.
They really don't want to go back out on the road. If you could ask them, they would be like, fuck that. So you guys roll up to Dolga's foundry and you see smoke pouring out of the chimney, strangely colored smoke, mostly black with occasional puffs of other strange colors. And you can hear lots of noises, and there's a couple strange devices that have been bolted onto the ceilings and outer structure of the building with wires and cables running in through the windows. guess
Somebody's
we'll,
made some improvements.
guess we'll go in.
Yeah.
Upon entering, it's incredibly loud. I may actually turn that down a little.
Oh wow.
You
Oh,
get the
wow.
gist?
Y'all been busy.
Working hard.
And we've got the foundry. Damn it. Got that bug. Just that sound for some reason, it's always deafeningly loud. And yeah. Ulfrid, you have seen this project in several stages because you've probably been up here to visit Dinvaya, and in fact, several points she asked for your help with certain tasks that are easier with more hands on deck. And you notice that as she's been up here almost every day, Mayanda has been brought up by the guards, still in chains, and helped Dinvaya with stuff. And even hauled up the machine that Dinvaya had formerly used to steal power from this city, and it's now here in Dolga's Forge, hooked up to a number of other machines. There's just equipment everywhere, cables running along the walls, the ceiling, across the floor. The shop has been transformed. It used to be just hard oak tables covered with various blacksmithing tools and crafted weapons, and now it looks like something between that and the area underneath Torch.
So you lasses have been busy since I've been gone.
Mm-hmm. And Vaya says, oh, Mayanda had some last-minute ideas about this weapon that are very interesting. I can't wait to show them to you. And Mayanda seems to be ticking away on a computer keyboard that's connected to a screen, connected to this giant device. And she says, I still had a lot of my old data files and sound files on here, so I thought we'd kind of soup up the whole experience of this project. And Dinvaya looks at Tokala and gives him a thumbs up and a wink.
Tokala just kind of like lifts one eyebrow, like he's a little concerned.
And
Well,
Joram
guess we
shows up and says, I hear our Lord Bry's work has been done here. And he pats on some of the computer machinery, clearly not sure what it does.
Bry works in mysterious ways.
He does indeed, my son. She does. And he walks up to this strange little device that's sitting on top of this giant bank of equipment in the middle of the room. It looks like a strange little foot by 6-inch box with a couple of slats in the top of it. You see him reach into his pocket and pull out 2 slices of bread and put one in each slot and push it down.
What in the name of Bry is that?
And then he rubs his hands together over the top of it because he's old and he likes the heat.
Smells good.
The whole shop smells like axle grease and fresh baked bread. Freshly toasted bread. He takes it out and hands it around. He passes it around. I brought it up for everybody. Digs back into his pockets and puts more toast in the toaster.
Well, this is quite good. I think I need something though. Maybe like butter or something.
Perhaps something sweet.
Some honey.
Yes.
That would be good.
Maybe some
Butter and
ground up
honey.
peanuts.
Now you're talking crazy.
Bry's gifts continue to bless us. Thank you, Joram. That's mighty tasty.
Well, Ulfrid, if you would go and retrieve the item, we're ready to present it to the customer.
All right, I'm not in the game because my thing's acting up, but I shall do that.
Okay. Well, Ulfrid walks over to the corner where there is one of Dolga's old wooden tables still left with a giant blue cloth laying over something huge, something 4 or 5 foot long. It's like a body is on the table over here. And Ulfrid picks it up, still wrapped in the blue cloth, and marches it over and I'm going to hold it out to Tokala, present it to him.
My liege, your weapon.
Tokala reaches across the console one-handed and grabs it.
You instantly feel that it is immensely heavy, and one hand might not do.
For mortal men, but for Tokala.
Okay, you're committed now. Macho forces you. Roll a strength check to not bonk it on something as you pick it up over the counter. Oh, okay, Tokala is hyped, and he grabs it with one hand and feels the incredible weight of it. And you ready to remove the cloth?
Let's do it. So with his other hand, he'll grab the cloth and just, with a bit of a flourish, you know, he's a kind of a showman,
Okay.
flips it off.
Well, what greets you is a shining silver and gold, bizarrely shaped device. If it was weird before, it is absolutely alien now. But you still recognize that long blade with the subtle dwarven runes down either side, and the chain with hundreds of shining teeth. You have never seen a metal of any type shine the way those adamantine teeth do. They are like mirrors. You can actually see yourself in them. There's a huge gold handguard and some other lever that apparently Tokala's not sure what that does. There is a strange little container by the main handle that looks like the size of a beer mug, but it's made of silver also. And it seems to have a opening on it. And then the handle is largely Dolga's greatsword's handle. It's slightly reshaped to have kind of a curve to it, but you recognize the grip. It feels like that sword. And you can see pieces of both weapons everywhere with this new sheen of the adamantine alloy.
Now that is a beauty. How's she feel?
He, even though he was being a little bit boastful before grabbing it with one hand, he is definitely going to put another hand on it before swinging it. Trying to figure out where to put it, though. He's kind of thinking up at the closer to the top there, so he holds it almost like sideways there. Because there's one spot for the hand down at the bottom. It looks like there might be another one there.
Oh yeah, there's several different ways to hold it. Denvaya says I put that other grip on there so you could reverse it in case you have to cut upwards, backwards, leftward. I wanted you to have the full range of movement and attack angles that a greatsword would have, but then also have the strength of this thing.
So Tokala holds it kind of like a batleth, you know?
Now we just gotta find a skull for you to bury that in, spray it in your victim's blood, and it'll be just perfect.
Denvaya says, well, about the blood, she kind of points to these strange curved, they look like handguards. She says these aren't actually handguards, they're blood shields. And from what I understand, when you used this thing before, it tended to spray blood all over you and whoever was standing next to you.
Covered an entire room, he says with a little bit of pride.
The RPM, the upper limit, the red line of the motor in this thing is triple what the old one was. It can move, she looks at your glazed over look and says, it can move the blades much faster. And the blades are much sharper than they were before. And the blades are stronger, so they will cut through anything. And they probably won't need to be sharpened for years. So this thing, when it hits anything organic, it turns it into this sort of strangely purplish red fluid. It just turns anything into liquid and flings it violently. And so these channels kind of help keep that aimed forward, and so it doesn't hit you in the face.
I think my allies here would really appreciate that.
It's going to spray massive amounts of blood forward, but not to the sides and behind you.
Except for the fact that I'm usually on the opposite side of the enemy of you.
Yeah, if you're flanking, Nomkath is going to be soaked in liquefied person.
We should go pick up some shampoo.
If only there was some kind of coat made for keeping liquids off of you. But I've never seen such a thing.
Did Tokala just invent the raincoat?
Perhaps.
You have to come up with a name for it, like Slicker or Shitter or Slapper.
Oldbrin, you might want to start practicing your prestidigitation.
Yeah, I see that's gonna come in real handy.
Yeah, because water's not gonna do it with my fur. It's gonna get in too deep.
Well, Denvaya says the downside of the new motor that we put on, we had to put on something better because the adamantine blades were a little heavier than the old ones, and it was going to just tear the old motor apart. So we upgraded it, and we stole some parts from another project that Mayanda told me about, and it just wouldn't have been possible. She really designed the mechanical part of this, and there's sort of a showy part of it, and that was also her doing. Mayanda just nods at Tokala. She says,
Chakala runs a finger along the guard there, noticing how it kind of looks like her pistol a bit there.
it does. It has a certain style. The thing is, Kulgara's chainsaw looked like it was assembled out of a couple different chainsaws. It looked like it was sort of a hodgepodge put together expertly, but still. And this looks like it was designed from the ground up with all these pieces in mind. It looks like one thing, it doesn't look like a hack job at all. No, it technically is. Its job is hacking. But Denvaya says it needs a charge to start, and then it needs a very small amount of organic matter. And she says that can be vegetable matter, it can be flesh, blood works fine. Something like poop or waste or excrement probably wouldn't have enough minerals in it to suffice, but yeah, there's a couple different ways to power it. It's basically a small biofuel engine that runs the motor.
Wait a minute. You mean you have to feed this thing?
Only
it's
once in a while.
alive?
What's
That is
once in a
mildly
while?
disturbing.
When you change the battery, you probably need to put some organic matter in this little container on the side here.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. Keep a few fingers or something. I don't know.
Well, she pulls out a potato and puts it in the container. And she says, this will be good for several charges. And she puts a fresh battery in it, and you hear it kind of... You hear a strange little whistle and whine as it engages the power and then gets quiet again. She says, well, you're welcome to try it.
Maybe we should step outside for this one.
Sure.
rats.
She says, step out into the yard behind the blacksmith here. And she has out back several sawhorses with what look like metal bars laying across them. And she says, go ahead, take a swing at these with your greatsword. She holds the new weapon. Take a swing at these steel bars with your greatsword. See what happens.
Like with the greatsword, or with the...
Your regular one.
All right.
You take a shot with the Masterwork Greatsword, and as soon as you hit these steel bars, you feel a ringing in your arms. You feel the vibration in your hands. It actually kind of hurts your hand to hit hard metal like that with metal. And you look, sparks fly, and there is a tiny mark on the blade of the sword and a tiny, tiny nick on the steel bar as well. Denvaya says, not unexpected, right? She takes the sword from you. Don't worry, we'll fix it with a mending spell.
Yes, sorry about that one.
And she says, this weapon is different. Adamantine blades mean that anything you try to cut with this, you're going to feel like you're just cutting goblin flesh. It'll go through steel like butter. Try it.
All right. I assume just my bone saw.
Well, I'm going to add it to you in a second, but he can just fire it up. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
She says and she holds up her hands and she says, the sound is very different. The engine that Mayanda put in there is extremely high RPM. It has kind of a weird scream to it. Pull the trigger.
Oh, yeah.
You feel nothing happen, and then Denvaya says, oh, you still have to prime it. That funny lever that's sticking down there, you have to hit that with some force. Sometimes a couple of times.
Gal, why did you make it so complicated? All right, all right.
Okay.
He primes it a bit there.
Okay. You kick it a couple times and you hear it click, and then it finally goes, and it does its bizarre whine and vibrates so hard in your hands it kind of shocks you, and you let go of the trigger for a second.
That was unexpected.
It felt like holding on to a giant angry bumblebee.
I'm really scared this thing's gonna just run away when I hit that metal.
Mayanda says, I kind of wonder if it could actually drag you down the street if you just laid it in the dirt and held on to it.
Just
That might be
sat
possible.
on top of it.
Yeah.
We are about to take a very long trip, and that will be tested.
She says, well, if you fall off of it, it's going to cut your leg off, so...
Do we have a way of creating new legs yet?
think so.
Well, something to think about in case you see us in a week.
Well, Mayanda, again, still shackled. She points at a strange little knob on the side of it, and she says, this is normal mode. And then this lower mode is if you wanted lower RPMs, lower power, like you were going to actually use it for a tool for cutting down wood or for making precise cuts in something, right? And then there's low, normal, and then there's this upper mode, which has a little strange red horned devil looking thing on it.
I don't think I'll be switching it to that right now.
She says, well, this mode makes a shitload of noise, and I have loaded it with some of my old arena entrance sounds. It's for dramatic effect.
Ah, okay. Got it. So let's try to cut some metal.
Okay. You leave it in normal mode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He fires it up and gets a good rev on it and brings it down onto the metal, and immediately, like twigs of wood, the steel bars snap in opposite directions as the blade not only cuts through them but throws them violently in different directions. It just felt like you just cut through kindling.
This will work nicely. I hope we face another Hellion. He thought he had it bad before.
She says, well, that's what the bigger mode is for.
Right. Only emergencies.
She says, no, you can try it now if you want. We've got enough power here.
All right.
Stone Cold Killer Pacifist Puppy Mode.
There's a talking gun in Cyberpunk that has two
I love
firing
Skippy.
modes.
I love
Oh, you have Skippy. Got it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I was super sad when Skippy switched to non-lethal mode on me.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, he was a great gun too. Okay, are you ready for this? This might be a little loud, you guys. You fire it up and you see two little strange panels open up on the sides of it and little black screens in there. They're speakers, but Tokala has no idea what they are. Open up, and it's actually unbelievably loud. The entire saw just goes up into a higher range and pitch. It takes Tokala a couple primes, but then he hits it, and I don't know what to say to you guys out of character, GM to players, but I apologize.
That is ridiculous.
I had so much fun making that. So much fun. Well, there you go. Let me put this weapon actually in your inventory.
We're definitely not going to be sneaking around with it in that mode.
Oh no, if this weapon is on, you are all at -10 to stealth. That's actually just a fact that's even in the Pathfinder description of this weapon.
That's it. Only a -10.
I mean, if he does that, then it's worse. All right.
That'll be reserved for big bosses.
All right. I'm just going to read this into the record here, but Denvaya has the details on it for you. It is a +2 cruel adamantium two-handed chainsaw. This one in particular is unique on Galarian. It's the melding of several different machines recovered from scrap all to form a weapon known as a chainsaw. It was once wielded by the fearsome warlord Kulgara, leader of the Lords of Rust. She was defeated by Tokala, war priest of Gorum, but in their battle she used her chainsaw to destroy Tokala's heirloom greatsword. He took up the shards of his sword and her chainsaw and brought them to the weaponsmiths of Torch. There, Denvaya, priest of Bry, reforged the items together, added adamantium plating to the teeth and body of the weapon, while transposing all of the dwarven rune work from the old sword down the length of the saw blade. The dual power system requiring both battery charge and organic fuel in the form of several ounces of flesh, blood, or dense vegetable matter. The speed of the blades has been vastly increased over an original chainsaw design, which has altered the sound. Special shields and gutters are installed to channel the immense amount of blood and pureed flesh ejected during use. And Denvaya, having learnt the dwarf language as a girl while apprenticed to their smiths, gave the weapon a name to honor the sword's original creator, Dolga Federt. In the dwarven tongue, its name, Yagadar Morndin, translates to stare to the top of the mountain.
And for all time, it shall be an official weapon somewhere in the world of Galarian.
Totally.
Need to submit this over to over to Bizo. Just
Psh, unless they're going to pay me for it, no. Okay, let's remove your old bone saws here. Inferior.
Let's just say how amazing that would be if somehow this weapon ended up out there.
Who knows? But let's see. Then we come down here. We put the sound in. Okay. We'll go ahead and do the quick sound rather than the 30-second rock concert version.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. All right, give it a try.
I think I gotta make an attack for it.
Nope, I made you one.
Combat. Okay.
There you go.
Sweet.
It works.
Oh, we got to put in the thing for
Oh, you're gonna have to mess with your
Vital Strike. For Vital Strike.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got it.
All right, cool. Ready to pack up and depart the city then?
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Well, Denvaya says, may it serve you well. And she says, I don't think you can break it, but if you do, bring it back. I'll do my best.
You underestimate me.
Surely not.
But thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Mayunda. It wouldn't have been possible without you.
She nods. My pleasure. She hobbles with her chains over to the guards who are going to put her in a cart and take her back to the jail. All right. Any other business?
I can't think of anything.
I think we're finally ready to roll out.
Okay. Well, the town sees you off in grand fashion. You load up your wagon. Actually, I think I've already put plenty of extra rations. Yeah, you have extra rations, water skins, coffee, a coffee pot, cooking pot, some tents, extra bedrolls, and all the other crap you guys had in there.
The silver and copper, all the silver, copper bars, mithril bars, gold bars, I think we had donated to Dinvaya as
Okay.
starting stock, with the idea of that we could basically, if we come back to her, we can get that value back, so to speak.
Yeah. A lot of it went into the saw. The saw is, if you were to sell it in Absalom, it would command about 30,000 gold. But she has some mithril left.
Well, say your goodbyes, friend. Who knows if we'll ever come back?
With
We're
all
gonna
the
have to
changes,
give-
with all the changes Dinvaya made to that foundry, would there be a place to actually charge those 3 batteries?
Yeah, she's got enough power to charge some batteries if you need her to. She doesn't have a ton here, but
There's 3 dead batteries in the carriage.
you can consider him charged. Actually, Mayanda gets on her little power transfer unit, and she says, "I can actually pull power from the torch." And then she looks at you guys, holding up a hand and saying, "Without turning it off or potentially damaging anything." And she charges your
thinking,
batteries
Momcat.
from the reactor.
All right, there you go. 3 more charged batteries.
Good call.
We have coffee and a coffee pot.
I know, Skaith would be proud.
That's great, yeah.
So
Okay.
we're kind of headed in the exact opposite direction that we went last time. That's interesting.
Yeah,
What's the
there.
best way to get there? Follow the river?
If only we had a raft.
Oh, that's true. Did you guys got rid of your raft, didn't you?
No, we didn't. We couldn't find a seller.
Oh, you
Oh,
do
we still
still
got
have the
it?
raft. Look, I don't know when. There's not a lot of water in this country, but we're having a raft adventure at some point.
This is the perfect moment to raft down that river.
It really isn't because
Tubing.
No. This is it. This is the moment.
I mean, you could do a little
Actually-
tubing in it, yeah.
Kind of looks like it. No, that does look like the source. Right there. That's where it starts.
Yeah, this river is the southeastern river is gonna take you to Hajath Hakados, which you don't want to go to. This other river over here kind of starts in the sort of swamps and tar pits over here. The choice you have to make, and you guys should you should aid another and then do a survival check to choose what's the best way to go. Pretty good.
Yeah, I got a plus 11, so.
I think I have a spell to help. Guidance.
Oh, and I rolled terrible. Holy shit.
Well, the good thing is you don't auto-fail skill checks in Pathfinder, so that auto-aids McGinnis.
There you go. I give you +1.
So that's going to get McGinnis to 22. McGinnis, you're looking at the maps that you guys have available, and you're thinking that this way is a pretty long route over land and still passes dangerously close to this. This is considered the major hazard of the area. It's not just this weird tower that seems to endlessly burn, but this forest is supposed to be extremely dangerous. Giants and other terrifying monsters. That's why there's no town like right near it. The safest mode of travel and the most comfortable would probably be to go past the tar pits, taking care to avoid the Vegapygmy swamps. You guys have probably had enough of Vegapygmies at this point, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm.
This northern route, you go around the tar pits, then you follow the river south, and the Lockstar Hotel is a nice little destination, supposedly. Some traders meet there. It's a little independent hotel kind of out on the frontier. Nobody exactly knows how it's been able to survive all this time, but it has. And from there, it's a fairly straight shot south to Yadenve.
Yeah, I think we head towards the Lockstar, my friends. Just skirt that swamp, the tar pits. Probably be, what, 4 days travel?
That's further south than I normally go. I'll take your lead.
Yeah, I don't think we want to go near that nasty black smoke belching tower due south. Let's cut it a wide berth.
We've got a half orc with a chainsaw. We can take on giants. No big deal.
Cut their legs off.
They're not so tall once you take them off.
That's right. Take them down a peg or two. Are your legs adamantine? Too bad. Can anybody name the place that I stole the chainsaw sound from? Just random trivia.
No idea.
Josh?
Nope.
If you played Cyberpunk, did you ever own the car called the Caliban?
Oh yeah.
Which steals it's one of the few, steals its noise from a real engine, the Lexus LFA, which is a bonkers, batshit insane hypercar that can rev its engine, I don't know, a third or half again farther than most engines can without exploding. But it does sound like a super angry bumblebee. Okay.
I don't think I ever got that car. I mostly just stuck with Jackie's bike.
Oh, Jackie's bike is awesome. But the Caliban is an incredible car. It's out. You can get it for free. It's out in a cave after you do all of
Oh yeah,
missions.
the Batman one, right?
Yeah, it looks like Batman's Lamborghini. Yeah. Okay. Well, since we have spent like a month of in-game extra time after Book 2, this leg of the journey is going to go fairly quickly. You guys, both because we want to get going on this book and because you guys know Vegapygmies better than most people in Numeria do. You're very experienced at dealing with them. And you're able to avoid all the russet mold and all the little traps and pitfalls and areas. There's several points where you guys are looking at driving the wagon through this road or that road, and you guys just give it a look and you go, you know what? We're not going to go near that group of trees over there because it just reminds me of Gavrilo, and I'm afraid it's full of Vegapygmies. So you have no problem avoiding that. And over the course of several days, you guys head out on the plain. The river is to the south of you, and in the distance, you see a thin line of smoke from a chimney coming up from a small building out on a flat plain just a couple 100 feet from the river. And you think you're looking at the Lockstar Hotel from about a mile away.
Do I know anything about this place? I mean, it kind of seems to be a bit odd to be out in the middle of nowhere.
It's quite possible that McGinnis passed through here before, unless he went the southern route through Hajoth Hakados.
I really have no idea which way he would have come.
Yeah, he might not
the main
even.
route.
Maybe it was a blur. It's a level 1 wandering through the wastes. Who knows? Maybe he rode a caravan through here and just spent the night and moved on. But it's very possible that some of you that are wanderers have been through here. And you remember it just being like kind of a middle of nowhere, one building town sort of thing. You could stock up on food. They had a well so you could get water. It tasted funny, but not as bad as the water in Torch. And it was a good stopover point. Pretty cheap to stay there. More expensive than a city hotel, but you kind of expected that being out in the middle of nowhere. They could charge what they want.
Yeah, it's nothing fancy. Just to stop to water your horses, get a bed and a hot meal. Yeah, have these all over Avestan along the roads. I expect they'll be a good spot for us tonight. Maybe you can even gather some information about where we're headed. Any interesting sights to keep our eyes peeled for.
I'm sorry, they have them all over where?
You know, this land.
All
If you go
right.
far enough If you go far enough, you run into him from time to time.
You seem to be mistaken, friend. This land is called Numeria.
That's right. There's only Numeria. Now you sound like Eldrin.
There's-
Ooh, the world is round.
There's only
Oh.
Numeria?
Only Numeria.
Okay.
I've never seen anything else.
Therefore,
McGinnis just smiles and goes, "Sure thing, pal," and returns. Doesn't want to have this conversation.
Takala has a smug look of satisfaction knowing that he was right.
you won the
Yeah.
argument.
Better
Yeah.
just let him think what he's gonna think.
What a true friend. Well, you guys pull up your wagon to the front. There's a place to tie off and secure it there. There is a huge pile of boxes and barrels out in the street on the north side. And as you guys pull up, you see a dwarf lean out the front door and go, "Don't park that wagon there. Park it over here on the east side."
Okay, will do, partner.
You relocate the wagon over to the east side.
What's the story with all this cargo, all this freight? Looks like a big wagon train coming through.
Oh, just transactions. He walks back in the building.
Mm-hmm. I know what that means.
Yep.
I'm done asking questions.
I don't. What's a transaction?
What's that mean?
It means
Well,
things you don't want to poke your nose into, or someone might decide that you look better with a shorter nose.
What's wrong with Takala's nose?
I've been called pig nose before. It's already quite short.
McGinnis will walk in like a, like a badass, dusting off his coat, looking around, see if anyone recognizes him.
Well, there's no one in the front lobby but this dwarf that you saw peeking out at you before. He's a muscular little guy, red hair, blue-eyed. Nods at Ulfred as you guys walk in and then looks and says, individual rooms or one big one?
Oh, I think we can afford a room for each of us.
He says the upper floor is booked, but on this floor I got a room with 2 singles, a room with a double bed for any of you. He looks all at you kind of awkwardly for a second and says, if there's any couples. And he says, then I got one room that's got 2 little beds and 1 big bed for, he looks at you awkwardly again. There's a family thing going on.
Just Takala and his chainsaw. I believe.
Yes, we will need a rather large bed.
For both of us.
There is
It's-
a tavern here, isn't there? I mean,
Oh, yeah, you can see it to the south. You're peeking in on it.
Oh, good. Well, I'll probably be sleeping in there tonight. Let's face it. If not, I'll just stumble out to the party barge.
He says that, but you still got to rent a room, even if you're going to sleep in the bar, which I'd rather you didn't.
We will definitely rent enough rooms, and if he decides to sleep outside, he can sleep outside.
He says it's 5 gold for the family room, 3 gold for the double bedroom, and 3 gold for the 2 twin bedroom.
I'll take the double. I'll share it with someone. I probably won't use it anyway. Bed's all yours.
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay. So Nomcath and McGinnis in the double.
Yep.
Who's getting the 2 twins room?
Oberon and Eldrin will take that one.
Okay. Our elfie friends will take that one. And who's taking the family room? Takala, Ulfred.
Together.
Yay.
Yay. The family room comes with its own bathroom. And the bathroom is a small table with a mirror on it and a big bathtub. And then there's the public bathroom for the other 2 rooms to share. And it also has a bathtub and a wooden chair for you to stare at the person who's taking the bath, I guess.
Uh-huh.
You can have something to put to throw your clothes on.
Yeah. All in
Yeah,
all, you guys are
exactly.
sort of
Bathroom.
surprised at how nice this place is, given its location, but it's a little bare, a little rugged.
It's ran by a dwarf, man. Of course it's nice.
Yeah, if you talk to him at all, his name is Trucknell Thunderspark, and Trucknell seems to think this is like a 5-star. This is the nicest hotel in the country, as far as he knows.
It is a fine establishment, I say to him in broken dwarvish.
He says, "Oh, what's that accent? What tribe are you?"
Tribe, yeah, about that. But didn't know. Didn't know my parents.
So who taught you dwarven? You talk like an old woman.
A young half-elf girl.
He raises his eyebrows and infers a number of things from that response. And he keeps shining the mug he was shining, but he closes his mouth, raises his eyebrows even higher, and kind of nods at you approvingly. All right, then.
She also taught me the ways of Bry, and do things other than bash things with me head.
He looks slightly disappointed there. Yeah. He says, well, let me help you with the regional dialect. And he starts sort of demonstrating the proper way to pronounce a number of words. He seems to be beginning with all of the expletives.
As is proper.
So you start with fuck, shit, crap, garbage, fucking trash. He starts with all that sort of stuff.
I pull out a piece of paper to take down notes.
So it was a good thing I was here to teach all this knowledge.
I can never have too much knowledge, especially about your own people.
Ah, you're a good boy. Well, it seems like the dwarves are going to swap insults for some time. Bartender seems to be a rather bottomless pit of verbal abuse.
Good for him. He needs
Your
to be
mother's
around.
beard. Your mother's beard brought shame to your family.
There is music in the tavern. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And there appears to be some people in there enjoying stuff.
Push or cook.
You guys can have a seat. They'll be serving some delicious stew in a bit. Mystery stew. It's definitely got some kind of meat in it, but difficult to identify. You ask him if it's duck?
Yeah.
So,
Is
oh,
it
no.
duck stew?
So what's a duck? That's rat stew. I love rats. Oh, the rats around here are delicious because I feed them.
I've had worse.
It's quite good. It's pretty good.
More
Well,
important, how's the beer?
yeah, that's an important one.
McGinnis will just grab a chair and drag it over to this table full of strangers and plop down in front of them. Just go, well, how's the trail treating you, friends?
They say, well, welcome, traveler. They seem a little, kind of dirty, tired, look like they've had a long road of it. They say they're heading to the Torch. They're going to run that path between Torch and Hakados and try to make a pretty penny hauling metals.
Where are you coming from?
Oh, far to the south. They kind of got their act together down in Brevoy. There's a new government, and the stolen lands aren't really the stolen lands anymore. There's towns and walls and guards and shit. It's a new world.
Y'all come through Yadin, that's where we're bound.
We did briefly, though. We didn't stay too long. And they,
What's the word?
friendly folk, but a little strange, you know.
So I hear.
Also, I hesitate to even say it, but you know, there's some strange folk, strange looking people there. I think they've been, you know, breeding amongst themselves too much or some such. Not for me to say, but you know, it just gives me the strange feeling.
Yeah, it happens in these backwaters. I must say I've seen it before.
Some cases it's pretty severe. There's some weird looking kids and town folk there.
Things pretty quiet in town, though.
Yeah, boy, their law is serious. They got a lot of you know, ranger types, wilderness guys. And their chief guy is no joke. He meets every traveler that comes into town, and he's seems like a tough customer. We certainly wouldn't cross him, but he's fair. Set us up, place to stay, food, water. Felt safe there.
As tough as you want, as long as you're fair. Works for me. Well, I tell you, if you wanna easy go of it, you stick to the river, go north. Don't try that pass. We just came that way. Easy sailing, as long as you know how to avoid those vegapygmies. There's a bit of a swamp up there.
He pulls out his map and shows it to you, and it's a little bit cruder and less fleshed out version of yours.
He'll point where the swamp was. That's the area, just avoid that. If you skirt that and the tar pits, shouldn't have too much problem.
He says, not to tip my hand here, but what is a vegapygmy?
Well, imagine if you had a friend, and then that friend turned into a plant, and then that friend tried to kill you.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not too hard to take out, but it's more the lingering effect when they spray you with their spore.
Well, that sounds
You just
really
don't wanna
bad.
mess with it. Yeah, you just don't want any part of that. Trust me.
All right. Well, how do you avoid them?
Will.
A big part of it is you stay to the sunny areas. The mole that the vegapygmies come from, it doesn't like the sun. So if you don't go into darkened areas and stuff, you won't encounter it much. I don't think the vegapygmies go too far from it, really.
Eldrin will pipe up and back up what Nomcath just said, and he'll advise that vegapygmies prefer moisture. They like a swamp. They like at the driest of forests. They don't like a desert or an open plain. So just don't camp near the green stuff and travel by day, and you probably avoid most of them.
That's about it for them. But perhaps you're looking to make a speedy route. Perhaps you're even looking to stay off the beaten path if the transactions outside are any indication. So I'll leave it for you to decide your best course, my friends. But in the meantime, I'm feeling flush. I'll get around for the table. If anyone care to deal some cards, I'll sit in on that too.
Hell yeah. They pull out a deck of cards, and some fine dwarven ale comes through. Trucknell delivers the dwarven brew to the table and walks back and says to only Ulfred, "That's pretty watered down past there, but to humans it's still stout."
I wink and say, secret safe.
Yeah, he noticed that you were about to take a drink from one of those, and he says, "Don't drink that fish piss." And he pulls out a bottle from underneath the counter. He says, "Now this is dwarven stuff."
Oh.
And he opens a bottle, and you actually see some fumes come out, and your eyes burn slightly, and you smell it. It's a strange smell. It smells like powerful chemical, or maybe a fuel, like gasoline.
is quite something.
He says, I'll put hair on your chest, boy.
Even more?
Oh, yeah. He pulls open his shirt and you see his very thick hair on his chest.
Oh, good. I was
Yep.
wondering when it was starting to fill out.
Give it a try.
Abs-
Make a fort save and add your poison bonus.
All right, I am not in again.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're having a heck of a
No,
time,
it's-
huh?
I'm talking to some of the troubleshooters right now, saying try to do accelerated graphics or something.
Oh, the graphic acceleration isn't on by default. It might not be in Opera. Do you have a decent gaming card at all? Like, do you play any video games on
Yeah.
that machine? Yeah, if
Yeah.
you turn on hardware acceleration, that will help.
It says it turns on when it's available.
Yeah, it should be on when it's available. But you're still having to reload a lot?
Yeah, it just goes away. It like, I posted a picture of it. Like it blinks out and it turns gray.
Is your internet pretty stable lately?
I mean, yeah, the internet is
Just fine. Okay.
seems solid.
All right. Well, maybe Opera is not the choice for you. We should try Firefox, but if you see the same problem in Firefox, then I'm worried it's like a network connection between my server and you, particularly.
Yeah, I've tried 4 different.
Okay.
Browsers.
You've tried. Yeah, I think it's internet then. You've already done everything that you could be doing, I think. Shit. But you're still on a temporary internet situation. They're going to rebuild your house, and
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird.
I'm sorry, man. If they give you anything, if there's anything I can switch off or change to make it better for you, I certainly will.
All right, no worries. But yeah, I'm trying to load back in.
Okay. It's very unlikely that you won't make this fort save anyway. You got a pretty good con. The rest of you have dinner and beer. It's quite good. And McGinnis, your strangers you're playing cards with are pretty terrible at cards. You feel that you could absolutely annihilate them if you wish. It's up to you whether you do or not.
Oh, just enough to pay for my room and their drinks.
There you go.
I
Well,
knew there was some kind of trick in there. You would never pay for drinks willingly.
Well, you at some point they say, do you know what the transaction is?
Oh, we probably shouldn't talk about that.
All right. That's what we were trying to do, but just curious.
Well, why? You need some help?
No, nothing to do with us. We just noticed that there's a whole bunch of stuff sitting out in the road.
Oh, I just figured that was yours, my friends.
Nope, ain't ours.
Ain't mine either. Guess we'll see if it's there in the morning.
Okay.
Right. Now you've got Nomcap curious, so.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to try and sneak out and take a look.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, definitely not.
As you are slinking through, you don't think he's even looking at you, but Trucknell turns around and goes, "Hey, you need more beer, boy?"
No, I need to kind of let some of it out. What's that human saying? You never buy beer, only rent it?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, the pisser's out back.
Alright, thanks.
He's a fucking eagle-eyed dwarf, isn't he? Goodness.
Yeah, holy shit.
It's the first time I've spotted you with anything in a while.
Well, actually, I did roll pretty low.
Yeah.
I rolled a 5.
He rolled as good as he could. Okay, yeah, he doesn't really impede you from going out here, so.
Yeah. Alright. But given he spotted me before, and there's a nice big window right here, I'm going to probably not get nearly as close as I was intending to originally, and just see what I can see from a distance.
Okay.
Something about a cat standing on two legs taking a piss is kind of weirding me out.
Just don't think about it, Morty.
So, perception check to see if I notice anything.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh Jesus, the
Oh,
dice are
man.
not with me tonight.
Well, I mean, it's not too hard to see that what you're looking at is a huge amount of supplies, largely trail rations, some cloth, some low-end metal stock like copper bars, iron bars, stuff like that. That's pretty much it. It's just an immense amount of like basic wilderness supplies.
But interesting stuff could be buried underneath all that, and I don't. Having been spotted once, I don't feel like pushing my luck and getting thrown out of here. So.
Okay.
I will go take care of business and return back in a short while later.
Okay. Ulfred, I'm going to trigger this fort save with flying colors. Ulfred continues to learn the naughtier side of the dwarven language. Handles himself very well with respect to the intensely powerful dwarven liquor.
Nice. I will be right back. I'm gonna restart.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of the evening in here, and it's a pretty good meal. It's okay beer and decent company. Guinness wins pretty much all of his money back from the card game, but they don't seem too disturbed by this. They say, you know, once they get set up here, they're going to be making money hand over fist with this new trade route they're trying to set up. You guys can retire to bed. Bard sings a few more songs.
Guessing it's actually nope.
Yeah, if the bar isn't open all night, or maybe McGinnis starts to nod off, and then he gets a dirty look, so he'll just go out to the wagon and sleep out there in the wagon. Keep an eye on the horses.
You're going to sleep in the wagon? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nomcath, that means that you get this bedroom to yourself.
Hey, Nomcath's smart. He knows when to jump on an opportunity, just like
You-
with sharing the hay pile with Morgana.
You did it. Yeah. She doesn't really sleep much, so that was a smart move. Tokala and Ulfred have a large room with one big bed and two little beds and their own bathroom off the side of it. You can take a bath if you wish.
Are there bubbles?
There could be.
Well, there wasn't any beans in tonight's dinner, so.
Oh boy. Eldrin definitely takes a bath, I think.
You go ahead, Ulfred. I'll be all right.
I always think Eldrin's going to have elven sensibilities, but then he did walk around dirty and naked wearing a loincloth for, I don't know, weeks.
Quite a while.
Quite a while.
Well, it's not like he had a choice.
I mean, at some point, you guys returned to town, and he was still the naked wild man in the loincloth for another day or two. He was in no rush to get clothed again. Guinness out here with the wagon, like roughing it.
I will definitely take my turn in the bath because get all that dust out of the fur.
Okay. You feel clean and refreshed if you wish. Yep. Tokala, bath?
I mean, no, Ulfred should take his time.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to dusk.
I only bathe in the blood of my enemies.
Wow. There it is. Well, it's pretty well midnight, and the main room has died down. The guests that were out there have gone to bed, and the place is pretty quiet. Anybody stay up, or does everybody go to sleep?
Eldred and I, since we both have to sleep 2 hours, we'll take shifts doing it.
Okay.
So he'll sleep. I'll sleep first, and then he's got first watch, and then I'll take second watch.
Okay. How about the orc and the dwarf? I know you're all thinking the GM is going to kill us in our sleep. That's
I'm gonna
probably
sleep.
not what I'm doing.
We're at an inn. I'm not worried.
There you go. Have faith in society and civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I'm in.
Every dwarf
Great.
I've met so far has been just great. I think
How many
Ulfred's
dwarves
the
is
only
that?
one. I think Ulfred's the. No, I've met two. Ulfred and Dolga.
That's true. You did like Dolga.
Both of them are just great.
Dwarves are awesome. Reliable, friendly, helpful, brave.
All the
Okay.
things I respect.
Exactly.
That must mean all dwarves are great.
All, yep, you're just going to generalize.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Nomcath, you snoozing all night?
Yes. The only thing I do is I set up little, basically mini traps.
Oh my
You know,
God.
something. Well, no, just something at the door and something at the window that would fall over and make a noise
Yep.
if somebody tried to open it.
You give this guy the nicest room in the hotel and he's booby trapped it. Kid, you could take the wilderness, the man out of the wilderness, but okay. Well, it's pretty early in the morning when everyone will need to make a perception check, and if you're sleeping, it's at -5. So Olbrin, yours is normal. Pretty much everybody else's. Olbrin, you're fucking awake as shit. 31, you are
Yeah.
hyper aware.
And
All
that's with the -5 applied for me.
Mine's not.
Okay.
So mine's 11.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's 6.
Nomcath and Tokala are sleeping. McGinnis, you're sort of dozing in and out. You occasionally look up at this beautiful Numerian sky above you and just drift off into thought, meditation, but you're mostly asleep. And Ulfred, is that with your negative or no?
No.
No, so
It'd
you have
be
an
a-
11. Well, you took a hot, bubbly bath, and Tokala let you sit in there for like an hour or so. So you're all wrinkled and pruny, and you crawled into bed, and you don't think you've ever slept as soundly as you are right now. You haven't been this clean since you were born, and you have never been in such a cushy, comfy bed. And so, Olbrin. Eldrin is sleeping, doing his meditation, and you're sitting on the bed. There's two of these single beds. Yours is in the southeast corner. His is in the middle of the east corner of the room. You got a mirror and a dresser and a chest, nothing in it. Since he's asleep and you can see fine in the pitch dark, you've got the lights out. And you've got a mug of what probably was beer, and at this point of night is probably water, next to you. And you see a flicker in the top of it.
A flicker?
Strange reflection of light. Everything is still. There's just kind of the wind of Numeria outside. And you look at your cup again, and the water in the top of it ripples slightly.
So the water's just rippling. There's not a reflect. It's not a reflection.
Then you kind of feel it.
Oh.
You think it's distant thunder at first, but it's
reach
too
over-
rhythmic.
I reach over and shake Eldrin.
McGinnis, you wake up. The ground is shaking underneath you, slightly.
Are the horses freaked out?
Yes, they're stamping their feet and dancing around in place.
I'll go to calm them down.
Okay.
I send Eldrin to go wake up the rest of the party.
Okay.
And I look out the window. Do I see anything?
Currently, your window faces south, and you cannot discern the source of this. You look out the south window, though, you don't see anything. It's just dark as pitch out there. Your dark vision kicks in. Your drow dark vision can see 120 feet out, and you don't see anything that direction at all.
Where's the?
Get a sense of direction?
McGinnis, roll. Let's see, your perception check was good.
It was 16.
You woke us up, right?
Yeah, Eldrin did.
It is hard to tell at this point. It's still just the ground shaking.
Okay, yeah, he's just eyes up, ears open, like, whoa, what the hell's going on? Stay easy, guys. Don't draw his pistol.
You wake
Where's?
up, Eldrin, he's awake.
Yeah, and I send him to. We go find the rest of the party. Wake them up.
Get out of my way, jerk. I'm trying to get out of my room.
He busts into Nomcath's room and probably hits your traps. Let's see. Nope, he stops just short of your tripwire and like knocks on the door and says, Nomcath.
What?
And as soon as you say what, you feel it even through the bed springs. And you see his kind of look of fear and panic on his face.
All right, this isn't good. Let's get to the others.
Okay.
I assume probably Tokala and Ulfrid are getting ready to come out. We're coming by since Ulfrid was going after them.
Ulfrid, Oberyn, you go to wake up the dwarf and the orc?
Yes.
Okay. They are kind of in a deep sleep. The dwarf is a little tough to wake up, but he does wake up, and he's in looks like some kind of jammies. Tokala, of course, sleeps in the nude, clutching his chainsaw.
Get your kid on. There's something crazy going on. We don't know what the hell's going on. Move it.
You mind helping? I don my armor slowly.
Yes, I'll help. Let's go. My wrist is
McGinnis,
shaking. I don't know what's going on.
McGinnis, roll me a perception check. A new one. He is straining to hear, and he hears sort of a wooden creak to the north, and you strain to look that way, and your human sight in the moonlight, you see what look like just massive boulders or trees, the shadows of trees moving up towards the pile of supplies on the north side of the Lockstar. And you can't tell what they are. You know that they're probably 15, 20 feet high. There's half a dozen of them, and they're moving up towards those supplies, slowly but steadily.
He's frozen and stupefied by what's going on.
You've got the horses held. Make me a riding check to keep them quiet. You pat them, and they know you pretty well at this point. They kind of make a few concerned noises, and they can't seem to stop stamping their feet, and they're kind of trying to back away to the south, but the wagon's brake is on. If they start moving it, you know the wagon makes kind of a bit of noise of creaking and squeaking. So you're trying to hold them still.
Yeah, easy, kids, easy.
Ulfrid and Tokala, you guys head out into the street. You don't have time to put on Ulfrid's armor. That's quite a production. Unless you're going to stay in there for that full time. Tokala, what do you wear these days? Breastplate?
Just a breastplate, yeah. It's a nice breastplate.
Yeah.
It is just a breastplate.
You come out there in your jammies?
I asked Olbrin for assistance to put it on.
Okay, I'm going to put Tokala back in here, and Olbrin's going to be helping you,
Great.
and you'll be a round or two behind. Olfred, you coming out in your jammies?
Yeah, I will unequip it.
Okay. Olfred, you step out here. Nomcath, you obviously come slinking out here.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a stealth check, Olfred and Nomcath.
Finally.
Okay. Olfred, oh my gosh, sir. You step out onto the porch and you're walking this direction, and as soon as you clear the torchlight, your dwarven eyes instantly adjust to the pitch black. And you look out and see huge men. They have to be 18 feet tall. They are just wearing loincloths, and they each are carrying a club as tall as they are, which is really just the trunk of a tree with a number of sharpened stones and bones tied to the end of it. They don't wear that much armor, but their skin looks thick and craggy. They have sort of strangely made boots that look like they're made out of skins of elk or moose or some other huge animal. They have pretty ugly faces and big beards, and they gaze back at you. They're all loading up these sort of satchels slung across their backs with supplies. And they see you looking at them, and they look back at you and stop for a moment.
I'm guessing with my low light, I can basically only just see general shapes.
Yeah, you have shapes. You're not sure what you're looking at, but you're sure these are 18-foot tall humanoids who are armed.
Ulfred's up in. Is Ulfred in?
Nope. It did it again.
Kicked out again.
What's
Well-
weird, like I can move my cursor around and like the little portraits pop up, but I just can't see the map at all.
It's so weird. All right. Well, we'll give you a second to try and reload it. So, Kala, you guys get your gear on and get up to the front door. Ulfrin, are you thinking you want to engage or back away or just stay where you are?
I will, if there's going to be a fight, I'll engage, but I'll put some protective spells on me first before I actually engage them.
I don't know if we need to engage these guys. It's maybe they bought this stuff.
Trucknell, Nomcath, you see Trucknell creeping out the front door with a cudgel in his hand, but he's not holding it in like a combat way. You know, he's holding it kind of halfway up the haft. And he reaches out with his empty hand, and he doesn't seem to notice you there this time. He taps Ulfred on the shoulder. Ulfred, you look back in the dark to see Trucknell looking at you. Goes, "Don't do it, lad. You don't stand a chance. It's all right. They'll just take what they got and go."
Did they buy this stuff or are they stealing it?
Ah! He turns and is kind of shocked that Nomcath is standing right next to him. And he covers his own mouth to not make a sound. And he kind of tugs backward at Ulfred, like trying to get you to back away from them. The creatures keep loading up stuff into their satchels. Every time they take a step, you realize it's kind of shaking the ground, and you feel the vibration of it, even 50 feet away. And Trucknell looks at Nomcath and says, "Yeah, You can say that. They paid for it. Now come back inside.
Okay.
Where's Eldrin? He could identify them for us.
Oh yeah, I'll hustle him up there. He comes out. Can't see them too well, but Ulfric can describe them to you. And Trucknell looks at all of you and holds out his hands and says, "Oh, for fuck's sake, they're hill giants. Go inside. Go inside."
I gotta go. I'll go warn McGinnis. I'll be back. They can't see me. And just kind of, I would hug the building, so that even if they do see me, they can see I'm heading away.
Yeah.
And then I'll come catch up to it. I'll go, hey, McGinnis, you here? Can you see me?
What? Who? Oh,
It's
Yeah.
Nomcath.
yeah.
It's
What the hell's
it's-
going on?
some giants taking some of the supplies that were there. The owner of the place seems to know something about it. I don't know if it's something that they kind of traded for, or maybe it's extortion. But we're looking at, how many figures did I see? About 3 or 4?
5.
5 giants. I think they said it was hill giants. That's a pretty big group. I
I'll
don't.
just keep these horses quiet. Let them
Yeah.
do their transaction. We don't need to be part of this.
Yeah, I agree. That's a bit much for us.
Ulfric, you coming back in or staying out there and? Oh, he's
Bloody
able,
giant.
he's able to move it. Yeah.
I think I might have found the issue. My CPU just spiked to like 200 degrees.
Oh shit.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's very bad. Is this a custom built PC?
No, it's a laptop.
Oh, it's a laptop. Do you have it elevated at all? Pardon me, my IT brain runs away with the possibilities.
No, I forgot my cooler or cooling fan for it too.
Oh, you have an external
Oh.
cooling fan? That helps sometimes.
Yeah.
If it's getting too hot, it might actually help to just turn off the hardware acceleration from Foundry, although that shifts more load back to the CPU. Yeah, if hardware acceleration's working, it should be using your GPU. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah.
I once had a laptop that melted its own internal fan, so it warped, so it couldn't go full speed, and I had to just keep basically frozen ice packs underneath it to use it. It was really fun.
Wow.
Okay, so you guys retreat back inside. Nomcath, you're helping McGinnis calm the horses. They seem calmed
Yeah.
at seeing 2 people they know.
Yeah.
Now explain to me why I can't kill them.
Well, Eldrin says, let's see, let's give him a check on this. Based on Trucknold saying what they are and Ulfric describing them, he says, well, they are, one of them would be a handful for us to fight. 5 of them is, we definitely lose, in Eldrin's opinion. They are immensely powerful, very tough. They can see perfectly out there, and not all of us can. And they can throw rocks with incredible accuracy at pretty amazing range, because they're big. And they have gathered their supplies, and they are walking back into the wilds to the northeast.
And you're sure you're okay with this, dwarf?
So, yeah, don't engage them. They'll flatten the place.
Well,
So go back to bed.
Otherwise-
Everything's fine.
none of my business, I guess, but
Aye,
I
thank you.
Still think I could have killed him.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that if it weren't on my property.
Have you seen this thing? And he's gonna walk up and put his chainsaw on the desk.
Good Lord, what is this?
It is incredible.
It's his screaming greatsword.
Yeah,
I'll
he
tell,
seems very impressed.
let me see if I can remember the name. It's under my attacks, I think. Yeah. Okay. So he sets it up there and goes, "This is Yagadar Mornden."
He says, that's quite a name. Only the most audacious dwarven smith would name an item that.
Does it not fit?
Aye, it does. But you know that I think you're translating that word wrong. He's looking at the runes on the blade.
Oh?
Yeah.
Why? What does it say?
Well, your friend here speaks a weird version of Dwarven, I'd say. Old lady Dwarven. I'm fixing him, though. He's going to be right as rain. Curse you, blue streak, and perfect Dwarven by tomorrow. But he says this here. You said the translation Dinvaya gave you was the stair to climb to the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And Truckneld says it translates more directly as stairway to heaven.
I'd say that's rather fitting. It's it's a one-way ticket to the afterlife.
So yeah, it's not better or worse, it's just different. I just wanted you to know that's what these runes sort of say to me with my tribe's, interpretation.
Well, anyways, I
Well-
could have taken them.
Oh. Maybe so. But they cause a lot of damage.
Not my building. And he goes walking back off to his room.
That's exactly the sort of sentiment he was worried about. Not my building.
So, is it more that they paid for that stuff, or is it more extortion where if you don't give it to them, they threaten to flatten the building?
You ask him?
Yeah, I'm asking him.
He says those things, as far as I know, are the most dangerous creature in this area. And no, they don't protect me. But if I feed them and pay them off, they don't attack me or anyone who comes through here either. And the other things in this neighborhood, if you will, see them come here once a month and do that. They don't fuck with me.
Alright, so kind of a loose, implied guardianship.
Well, completely misinterpreted their intentions, but it serves me.
Yeah, that makes more sense as long as you can continue to afford them.
Aye. So he goes on in details. He says, there's rogue barbarian tribes, bandits, there's other strange things in this area, and anything in this area fears the giants above all else. And he says, and since he's cut this deal with him, the giants haven't attacked him and nothing has, and it's been this way for several years now.
Alright.
He says the giants come from somewhere in the east. They showed up one day like they were going to just level the place and take everything, and he just started piling goods out in the street until they couldn't carry anymore, and then they left. And now they do that once a moon.
Well, hopefully this place will continue to be profitable enough that you can continue to pay them off, and hopefully they won't get greedy and start expecting more.
Well, he charges 10 times the prices of a normal city inn. Like he charged you guys 11 gold, and that would have been 11 silver in Torch.
Yeah, but it's also in the middle of nowhere,
Mhm.
so you kind of expect jacked up prices.
Mm-hmm. But he's making it work like this.
It is one of the entryways to Numeria too, so
Yeah, he has pretty regular traffic. Plus, I've got a bath.
Yeah, that is
Luxury.
pretty nice.
Okay, back to bed for everybody. McGinnis back in the wagon.
Yeah, he sleeps on the roof.
I was gonna say, are you sure you still want to sleep out there?
Yeah, I gotta take care of these horses, man. Good horse hard to find out here.
That's true. We can't let old Pugnuts and
Smidgen.
Smidgen die. I'd rather have Eldrin left outside.
Wow. We are still recording, so
Wow.
We're far enough in that when he hears that, it's really gonna.
we'll see. Well, that's how we'll know if he really checks the recording thoroughly or not, as if he comes back on that. Okay. Morning comes. Nothing else happens that night. And let's see, let's head back to our, nope, not that one, this one. Our area map. Let's see, I should need torch for a bit. You guys have,
Just the thing.
yeah.
Store spirits for the next leg of our journey.
Yep.
McGinnis spent all evening socializing and gambling for a fancy inn and then slept in the wagon.
He's a complicated man.
No one understands him but his horse. All right. Well, this brings us to the borders of Yadenve. As you guys travel farther south, you see more trees, more grassy knolls instead of just broken desert, cracked prairie, dried out landscape. It seems a little healthier. To people from the south who are used to bright green forests and rolling green hills, this area looks barren, but to you Numerians, this is like very full of life. It's a very strange environment to some of you desert kids. And there is a hill ahead that you can clearly see some smoke lines coming from, and you can clearly see that there is a stone wall with watchtowers all the way around. Big trees around that have clearly been cultivated. Most other trees cleared around it. And even from a great distance, you can see the north gate. And out in front of it is a sort of tree trunk with a strange figure atop it. Looks like shining bronze or copper colored armor impaled on this tree trunk. About 100 feet out from the gate.
Oh.
Come on,
Uh,
McGinnis. Let's hurry. Can't these horses move any faster? It's been a long time since I've been here. I want to see what's changed. My
You wanna
friends
drink
are
the
still
beer.
here. Yes.
All in good time, my friend. Enjoy the view.
That does remind me. When those travelers were talking about the weird, misshapen children, do I remember seeing anything like that when I was through here?
Yes, you have seen that sort of thing in human communities that were too small and had literally too much inbreeding, but in Yadenve it was very pronounced. And it's a bigger community. There's a couple thousand people that live here, so it just shouldn't have that problem.
Yeah.
But you're not a great judge of humans, but you generally thought that the Yadenve humans had kind of a sicklier, stranger look to them.
I was just making sure it wasn't like a new development kind of thing.
No, it's pretty old.
Alright.
Not that any of the humans in this land are particularly clean and gloriously healthy. It's a tough place to live, but Yadenve just seems a little tougher.
For my travels, do I need to be disguised, or are they okay with drow?
You don't know. They were okay with half-orcs. Last time Takala came through, and they didn't hassle Nomcath at all. He came through probably with a whole caravan of catfolk, I would think, right?
Yep.
You ever seen a tree before, Takala?
Well, yes, I've been here before. Many times.
Oh, right, I forgot. Was that looks like some kind of robot nailed to a tree. Was that there before?
It has always been there, and Takala, you never knew what it was. McGinnis, you either. When you passed through the first time, you're like, what the hell is that? I don't know. It's a really weird suit of armor. Looks really heavy and cumbersome. And then, after your experience in the Black Hills underneath Torch, you now know, coming back here and seeing it again, it's a Gearsman. Dead. I mean, if it were a living creature, you would say mutilated and violently impaled Gearsman. And several spears sticking out of his chest, and it has been forcibly shoved onto a sharpened log buried in the ground.
Is it humanoid, human, like normal size, or is it
Yeah, it's a human-sized gearsman.
okay?
It's always been there. You just thought it was kind of a weird thing for them to have a suit of armor on a stick out here, but yeah, now you recognize it for what it really is.
That'll put a
Just-
smile on your face.
Just as a reminder, we might want to put away any signs of technology. These people don't like that stuff, and he's already stripped off the force field armbands that he had.
Togala looks longingly at his chainsaw. I could just tell them it's magic.
It is a 5-foot-long, shining silver chainsaw made out of recycled spaceship parts.
I'll put my stuff in the wagon then.
We can just leave it in the wagon for now. Honestly, it's not like we expect to have a lot of trouble in town.
That's
unless
true.
somebody does something stupid like break the law or something.
This is a very peaceful town. We should be safe as can be. These are my people.
Wait, your hammer's fine, Alfred. I'm thinking more like,
Grenade launcher.
a number of McGinnis's guns.
All of McGinnis's guns, even the muskets, will be frowned upon here.
Yeah, but I have like
Wow.
a lighter, a flashlight, and a hypogun and stuff. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but those you can keep those in pockets.
I've got
I
a
don't-
hidden compartment in my duster, which I'll keep the Inferno pistol, and then I'll
Okay.
just keep the coat buttoned up so that the
Yeah.
pistol doesn't draw much attention. I'll leave the grenade launcher in the wagon.
Yeah, like I said, just all the obvious stuff out of the obvious sight.
I
Probably a good
guess.
idea.
So
And I'll disguise myself with chameleon scales just to be safe for now.
you're gonna do what?
I carry that spell, chameleon scales.
Right.
Allows me to kind of look more regular elfish than drow.
You're gonna go regular elf? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the rest of the party sees Olbrin's skin change, and he looks closer to Eldrin than he normally does. Looks pale-skinned, brighter-eyed.
Tokala, do you have can you use longsword?
I can use any weapon. I'm amazing.
Nice. There's a fairly solid longsword in the party wagon.
Oh, really?
If you want
Maybe-
a weapon.
He's gonna
Yeah, the
start
razor
digging
blade.
around in the back. Oh yeah! I got this forever ago. Never used it. Good idea.
Need to make an attack for that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, guess I can't snag it.
I'll move it over to you. Let me do this.
Perfect. And
Then
you
we
can, if
create
you'd
an
like,
attack?
you could move my chainsaw over, or
Nah. We
Alright.
know where it is.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's essential that when you hit things with a sword, there's a sound effect. Okay.
does it go? Ooh.
No, but it can if you're going to be a smartass. I can make a number of noises.
It is the Wraith Blade.
Hmm.
Oh shit!
Hmm. All right. Well, we ready to approach the town?
Yep.
I'm ready.
Spurs are jingling.
Okay. You guys ride your wagon up to the entrance of the town, and you see a number of men see you coming. They are armored, they have hoods, longbows on their backs, short swords on their hips. There's 2 outside the gates and 2 in each of the towers looking down at you. The gates are shut. Oh, I should ask you, what time of day did you guys want to approach? You can camp and time your arrival at any time. Do you care? midday,
Nope,
lunch,
I
afternoon?
don't care.
I don't particularly care, but now that I
Um,
think about it, I mean, what's our story? We're gonna
Yeah,
have
I was
to
I
tell
was
him
about to bring that
something.
up.
Okay, we'll
We
pause.
probably
Let you guys
discussed it.
do this prep.
We need a story.
Well, I don't think they're going to be all that interested in hearing how we're here searching for a goddess that's tied to technology.
But we could tell him we're here to kill some robots, and we heard there were some annihilators around, and that probably, I mean, that's true, and aligns with their goals.
At very least, we get them talking, because if there's a big fight with technology, they're going to brag about that shit.
Yeah, exactly, but we got to kind of approach it carefully. They're the kind of people to hang first and ask questions later.
I mean, they've always seemed just to me. I've never seen them hang somebody who didn't deserve it.
But
Is there,
I do. You're right in that, but they're very strict on their interpretation of laws, and they're so very anti-technology. I don't want to push the wrong buttons and end up on the short end of a noose.
So we should tell them the truth. We're here for the beer.
I don't see why we can't more or less come clean about our aims. We don't have to tell him our means. We just say, you know, we kicked a lot of ass up in Scrapwall, and we're here to clean up whatever giant robot monstrosities you might have around here. We heard there was some in this part, and we want to know more.
I think that's good. Again, I'm just saying we need to be careful.
Yeah, we don't need to mention the chainsaw, the grenade launcher, the grapnel gun, the emergency life raft, and assorted other objects. We can just keep that
Exactly.
in the wagon. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And above all, Eldrin needs to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah,
Good
I don't
luck
know
with
how
that.
they go about that whole aliens thing, because then they're gonna wonder, well, where do these aliens come from? Then there's gonna be mentioning these starships that fly through the sky, and then the whole anti-technology thing's gonna come up. Anybody got some tape?
Ye of little faith.
Yes. Eldrin, you're gonna be able to keep your mouth shut? Good job.
I'm sure he's gonna really appreciate this RP.
But it is accurate that he would immediately start talking about that crap.
I need to learn to spell silence just for these cases right now.
More
Yeah.
importantly, you need to create a scaled down version of it, so it's like a just a 5-foot range. Yeah, make it a level 2 spell. Silent, silence idiot.
All
There we
right.
go.
Well, as you guys roll up, who's gonna do the talking?
Oh,
Who's got the people skills? McGinnis?
I'm pretty skilled with people.
I can.
Cut them
my
into
family's-
pieces.
My family's been through here a few times.
I too am well known here. Maybe we should both approach.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So you're gonna put Tokala and Namkath out front since they've been here before?
Yep.
Okay. You guys ride the wagon up there, and Tokala and Namkath walk out in front of it. I assume weapons hidden, chainsaw wrapped in a blanket somewhere in the wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just the wraith blade on your hip, Tokala. It's a
Yep.
very nice looking longsword. Not a whiff of technology about it.
That's right. Entirely magical.
Yeah. As you guys walk up, one of the guards steps forward and holds up a hand in gesture of greeting. And he says, "Oh there, travelers. Name yourselves."
I'm Namkath. This is Tokala. We're travelers through here. Both of us have been here before in the past. We're rather familiar with your town.
He nods and it says, Namkath Tokala, you are known. Who is with you?
Well, we got Eldrin, and we got Olbrin, and we got Ulfrid, and we got McGinnis. And
I vouch for them all.
I wave. Hello.
Well, Ulfrid waves, and you notice that the archers on the towers have moved to your side of the tower, have their bows in hand, and have stuck a couple of arrows downward into something in front of them, so they're close at hand. They're not aiming at you or drawing a bow yet, but they're very ready. And the one that's speaking to you says, all right, I'll need to see their faces.
All right, come on, guys.
McGinnis will step out and give a little wave. I passed through here, as I recall, a couple months ago.
You are known, McGinnis. They look at Eldrin and Olbrin. You are strangers to us. And Ulfrid, dwarf, you are a stranger to us. And they turn back to Tokala and Namkath and say, strangers must either stay outside the wall or be taken to the High Home immediately to be introduced to the Guardians.
Is that typical?
Yeah.
Yes, of course it is.
Of
Yeah.
What are you
course.
talking about? How
They're
many
pretty
times
strict.
have you
Like,
been
you guys have been through here maybe enough times that you've forgotten this, but the first time they see people, you got to go to the High Home and be introduced to basically the captain of the guard.
I still remember the first time I went. I was a boy. And he starts rambling on a little.
Okay.
All right. Do you want us to park the wagon out here somewhere and come in, or is there a place inside?
Oh, no. They say you have to bring it in. It's not safe out here.
All right, good. We'd prefer it that way. We got a lot of traveling supplies.
All right. This map that you guys are looking at has pins on it. If you go over to your left and hit your journal notes button, they should appear for you. There's not a lot of info in them. I mainly just put them in here so you could get a appreciation for where things are. And I'm going to leave the wagon at the top left, but it's brought in. It's with you. The guards take you through town, and you kind of get a sense for this place. In many respects, it's a very pretty town. It has very clean streets, ordered lanes. There's a lot of farms. You see a vineyard on the left, another one on the right on your way in. And you're headed for this very large building in the center of town, sort of slowly. About 6 of the city guards come with you. And they flank you on all sides pretty much and lead you straight to this place. And you see a lot of people. You start to see what you were speaking of earlier with the folks of Yadenve. At first, it doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with them, but there's a high number of people, the harder you look, that have sort of sickly looking skin or very thin hair or other sort of strangely formed faces that make you think of trauma or maybe birth defects. It just seems like sort of a strangely malady-ridden community.
You know, it's funny, these are the humans Takala's used to. McGinnis actually looked like he had some kind of birth defect when he met him.
Yeah, because he looks normal.
Yeah.
You're looking back and forth at McGinnis and these people, and you're trying to figure out if McGinnis is the handsomest human you've ever seen or the ugliest.
I'm not sure about your species, McGinnis. Tell me.
It's an awful lot of variety.
They all look the same.
It's a hell of a town that puts the cemetery by the front door. I
Yeah,
don't know what that's supposed to tell you.
convenient, huh?
It's a reminder to behave.
All right. Let's see if this map will load properly for us. I apologize in advance if this melts your computer, Alfred. It's not that high res a map, but Give it a second to load here.
That works.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at a consistent temp and stuff now. I think I have some weird I messed with some settings somewhere a while back, so it could be that.
Okay.
I'll figure
Well,
it out.
this is a huge 2-story building with a lot of carts and around it parked and a couple guards out front. Torches lit, some banners hanging, and you're brought up to the front of it. And they say, head on in and meet Red Fang, and then you'll be cleared to do your business around town.
Thank you.
Do I recognize the name Red Fang?
Yeah, he was pretty much the sheriff last time you were here. He is a large and not very handsome man, wild red hair, thick red mustache, braided. He almost looks like a 6.5 foot tall dwarf, if that makes any sense. He's burly, wears leather armor and a green hood, and carries a beautifully made longbow. He's known to be a fantastic archer, and he is said to be the greatest huntsman in these lands for 100 miles in any direction. Many of the pelts and heads and other trophies you see in the High Home Hall here, and there are many, are Red Fang's hunts.
Red Fang, is that you? How long has it been?
He nods. Tokala, it's been months. Glad to see you alive. And he looks at Nomcath. You're Nomcath, the catfolk tribe that came through last year.
That's right. We did some really good trading here.
And
These are,
come on in.
these are our friends. Come in, guys.
Stop staring out there like a bunch of crazy people. Get in here.
He nods at McGinnis, and he sort of looks at McGinnis a little harder. Does McGinnis have any firearms on him?
Yeah,
Which?
he's attempted to hide them. He's got the Inferno pistol in the kind of the secret pouch of the coat, and then he's just got his Justice on his hip, but he's buttoned up the duster to kind of keep it from public view.
Okay. Roll me whichever you're better at, disguise or sleight of hand.
Could probably sleight of hand.
Oh, McGinnis, what have you done?
He looks at McGinnis for a second, glances down at where clearly Justice is protruding a little bit from the inside of the coat. And he says, he leans forward and says in kind of a lower voice so that the crowd of people behind him don't really hear him. And he says, you keep that in the holster now.
He winks. Oh, you betcha. It's just a hammer, glorified hammer.
Sure. He invites you guys in, orders a round of drinks, and asks you to follow him past the bar here to the back room table. And back here you find a green carpeted room with painted walls and lovely, very well made giant table, which he sits down. There's a headman's chair, and he does not sit at it. He sits next to it. Invites you all to sit down at the other chairs. And beer is brought in. Some snacks are brought in. Some delicious blood sausage and some other type of broiled liver and some kind of barbecue bird of some type. Definitely a bird, though. It's not a rat. You're certain of that because it's still in bird form. Basically, an incredible spread of meat is laid out on the table before you.
I'd forgotten about this blood sausage. Oh, I really shouldn't get some of this before we go.
It's good stuff.
Red Fang,
Oh yes.
I've told them
Good
all
stuff.
about the beer here. I've for weeks now, ever since we decided to come here. I've told them about your incredible brews. Can
he
we have
really
some?
he really doesn't stop talking about it.
Well, let's see. Let's see if we can get each of you a beer here. The bartender comes in and brings each of you a what is called a brow brew. Now, this beer is very particular to this region. They make it here in the Odenve. Can't really get it anywhere else. Nowhere else would pay to import it, certainly, because it's kind of an acquired taste. Oops, that did not go, did it? Or did it? McGinnis?
Kala's gonna sit and watch expectantly, like a kid waiting for you to try your first, your first experience with something.
The thing that'll throw you is most beers made from barley or other things like that, but Brow Brew is somewhere between a beer and a wine. It's made from grapes from the winery here in the Odenve. And the grapes themselves are practically inedible. They're really sour tasting and they have seeds. Nobody really eats them as grapes. So what they do is ferment them into a really, really flavorful slash smelly type of yeast and then mix it with this local type of mushroom that also only grows here. And they produce this weird, bitter, sour mushroom wine beer called Brow Brew. And you each should have one in
Bottoms
your
up.
inventory. Yeah.
Take
Let's
a
see.
deep pull off of that.
Alfred still having trouble. Make sure you're up here at the table with everybody. Okay. And Red Fang says, last time you guys passed through, it was all separately. How'd you all get lumped in together?
A hunting
That's a
expedition.
damn good question. I can hardly explain that myself.
Just pure luck. We all ended up in Torch where they were having some problems, and they were offering us a lot of money. So figured, what the heck? We helped them out, and they're doing a lot better now. And that led us over all the way up to Scrapwall, believe it or not. And whew, the stuff going on there was crazy. Uh, but the whole bunch of different, tribes all kind of taking over and doing weird stuff. And would you believe they actually had like these weird robot things up there? I mean, we stomped the hell out of those things. Couldn't have them wandering around.
He makes a noticeable frown at the mention of that. He says, I've heard that about that area.
We stomped every one of them we could find. And craziest one, there's this one that looked like a giant scorpion. I don't know what the heck it was, but it looked like a giant scorpion, and it had this kind of weird, like, it almost looked like a wizard ray coming out of its tail. And oh god, that hurt a lot when that hit me.
You can
And
roll sense motive if you have it.
okay, I'm basically kind of leading up to why we're here. We don't like these things, so we want to destroy them. Sense motive, where am I?
Yeah, that's you. And then Namkath, you're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I just gotta find it in the list here. And I
Ooh.
roll horrible, of course.
Oh.
Good frickin' lord.
You can't tell. He had some kind of reaction to Robot Scorpion, and it wasn't pleasant, but you're not sure what
Yeah.
it was.
I was only +5, so.
So then what? You fought a Robot Scorpion and
Yeah, we smashed it, and it kind of blew up, and we had to kind of lick our wounds for a while. And then we were talking to some of the other people in the Scrapple area, and they said that they'd heard rumors that there were other ones like this down in this area. So I figured, well, if this thing was such a nasty piece of work, and we did pretty good in taking the one out, wouldn't it be the right thing to do to take out the rest of them, or if there are any more?
he said, well, that'd be quite an undertaking. He said,
Oh,
well, listen, friends, I'm glad you're here. I know several of you and you have good reputations here. I take it that your friends can be trusted and
oh
I
yeah,
kind of have no choice.
they've saved my life, And I mean that. Tokala saved my life, and we've watched each other's backs this whole time. I trust any of them.
I've known Red Fang here for a long time. He knows. I vouch for them.
Well, he says we need help with something, but the town council's very untrusting of strangers. So am I normally, but I know some of you. And this matter has already escaped, cost me a couple of my guardsmen. I think you two, you three, and your friends might be better equipped to take care of it than us. So I was wondering if I could hire you to check something out for us.
Oh, sure. I mean, we're gonna need funds if we're gonna be searching around for these other things. So yeah, looking around to everybody. I think would be interested in at least hearing out.
No payments needed. Well, not from me, anyways. I'm always happy to help.
All right. Well, there's gist of it is I've hunted everything, every animal and a few monsters that lives around in here, but there's something preying on our northern farms. And it's a sticky matter because there's a farmer up there named Jevik, and Jevik's been a real asshole for a long time. He's pretty much claimed that monsters, robots, dragons, whatever, have attacked him here and that and demanded more protection from the town, wanted compensation for animals he said he had that nobody ever saw he had and said were taken. So everyone thinks he's a huge liar. But his farm's in the area where we have seen some disappearances. And I've been up there, gone over it and over it and over it, and I've seen some bear tracks. I've maybe seen some wolf tracks, some few other regular things, but nothing definitive. And if you guys would be willing to take a look at it for me, I think it would go a long way towards the town council trusting you. If it was just up to me, I would tell you what's really going on right now, but I can't until you show the council who you are.
Yeah, politics. I understand. Mm, Again, I'm all for it. How about the rest of you guys?
Of course.
Sure.
Count me in.
Absolutely.
Says, well, of course we'll feed you, we'll beer you plenty, and get you access to some of the town's shops here. We got a new, of course, brother Gahuar is still selling his stuff. If you shopped at the Temple of Erastil last time, we got our high home wares for available for you too, and we got a new soup shop. We got excellent soup now.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's magic soup. He whispers.
If you can
Really?
stable our livestock and give us a berth for the wagon, I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely, and he looks over at McGinnis. He said, "And do I need to secure that wagon in any particular way? Make sure that nobody messes with it, or
Yeah, I think it'd be best if it just stayed locked and out of sight.
so I think
Yeah,
that would be best too."
Yeah, we don't need anybody nosy looking in on it.
It's awful pretty. It'll draw everyone's eye if it's sitting out somewhere.
It's pretty fancy. I don't remember that thing last time you guys came through.
No,
Yeah, I came across it out there somewhere.
All right. He says, "Well, if you want to if you're in need of anything, food, water wise, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to show you what I mean about this area." He pulls out a map. Let me actually bop us back to the town map for a moment. You guys are still at High Home here in the center, but the area he said he is concerned about is all these northern farm areas up here. basically the northernmost 6 farms in the town. And he says, again, all I've got is outside the wall some bear tracks here and there, and solitary, like a lone wolf. There's no way it dragged off any big livestock by itself. So I'm just sort of mystified. And I had words with Jevik last time. He called us about something BS, and I told him next time I saw him I was going to shoot him, and I'd just kind of rather you guys spoke to him. But keep in mind that whatever he tells you is probably mostly BS. The man is legendary for his exaggerations.
According to the map, it looks like those farms are on the inside of the wall.
Yeah, there's some on the outside.
Okay.
And yeah, actually, Jevik's is. You are correct. I actually need to move this marker. Where are you, buddy? Nope, not that. This. Jevik's farm is just on the outside, on the north side.
All right. All right.
So wagon's going to be locked up at High Home.
Yep.
Is that a gate right there?
There is, yes, there is a northeast gate. Is that the way you think you want to go out?
I think it makes most sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have enough time to start this if you guys wanna, unless you want to do any town piddling.
I just got back, so
Welcome
Okay.
back.
Hey.
I'm good to continue. We can at least start getting an idea of what's going on and make
Okay.
some plans.
Well, where do you want to go first? He said he saw bear tracks here where the X is, kind of closer to the wall here. And of course, Jevik's farm is, if you don't have your journal notes on, it's that circle up there.
Great.
I suppose we ought to take a look at those tracks. Although, damn fine hunter that he is, I would expect Redclaw would know better than I.
White Claw?
I agree. Red Fang would have picked up on much more than either of us, any of us, really could. I mean,
On
Nomcath,
the
you're
way.
pretty incredible, but Red Fang, oh my gosh, you have
Well-
never seen such a man. His stealth is legendary.
How many of
Skill.
those beers did you have?
Oh no! I just love this town.
You're just buttering them up for more beers.
Yeah, he might be. Alfred, are you stuck on a weird page? Foundry's telling me you're stuck on the High Home map.
yeah, I am.
All right, I'm going to pop back to the staging map. It should hopefully pull you to it. Is it loading for you?
Slowly.
Okay. Okay,
There we go.
got them all on a functional map. So, first we exit the town. Let me bop back to the town map. Hopefully this pulls everybody over. There we go. That coming through for you? Okay. Okay, so you guys head to the gate. Red Fang heads with you and tells the guards that they're hunting for a rogue animal or bear or something that's been sneaking around up here. Let them through and let them back in when they're done. And the guards nod at him and nod at you guys.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to look at those tracks since we're already here and it's kind of on the way to Jevik's farm.
Agreed.
So we'll go to where he spotted those bear tracks to see if we can see anything else.
Okay. You head out into the forest here. The forest gets incredibly thick. For those of you that have traveled through here, this is probably the thickest forest you've ever seen, except for maybe McGinnis, who may have come from farther south. Alfred, certainly this is the thickest forest you've ever seen. It's impressive. Probably Olbrin, too. There's not forest like this deep underground in the Darklands. Eldrin makes some comment about it being sort of a sickly, brown, dull green forest, not very pretty, not like the Elven forests, which are much nicer. Okay. You guys head down the wall to the northwest, keeping it on your left. And let's see. Perception, unless you have survival. Roll survival. Can each roll, though. McGinnis and Nomcath,
McGinnis.
goodness. Well, your trackers are on it. The rest of you are completely irrelevant. Nomcath and McGinnis are looking at the wall and seeing some marks, seeing some claws, seeing some place where part of the wall was sort of scraped or scratched up. And at first you think, oh, this is where some animal tried to get in the wall, but then Nomcath and McGinnis both agree that there's some other nearby trees where the bark has been rubbed bare, literally B-A-R-E, not B-A-E-A-R, but it was probably done by a B-E-A-R. And you actually kind of revise your original suspicion that something tried to climb the wall. No, you think something actually just itched its ass on the wall here.
That high up.
5-6 feet off the ground. It'd be a big bear that did it.
That's a really big bear.
That is a damn big bear.
They tend to stand on their back legs, you know, and just rub their back and their butt on things, and that looks like what he's done here.
Well,
Track-wise, there's not much, so you don't think it happened within the last week or so.
Yeah.
I mean, that certainly could explain some stuff going missing, but could just be a coincidence.
Yeah, it could be.
Press on to the farm, see what old Tails Jevic has to spin.
Well, let me check one thing first. And I'm gonna both climb up that tree and also climb up the wall. And I'm looking for patches of fuzz. If something was using that to scratch themselves, it's probably patches of fuzz.
Okay. There
Go
are
for the
some
wall?
here. You find some.
All right. I take a few pieces as samples so I can, like tell color and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least then, if we can get a color description from Javik, maybe we can see if it matches the color of the fur of whatever this was. I assume it's probably just normal brownish.
Yeah, it looks like brown with a strange... There's a tuft of brown fur, and there's some other strange mixed in, like a gray-white hair, and then another hair that seems to have an almost bluish tint to it. It's a weird pelt.
I show it to McGinnis too. I mean, that doesn't really look a lot like bear fur. I mean, most of it does, but the rest of this?
It has the texture of bear fur.
Yeah, but I've never... The white, I could maybe see if it was like an older bear and had rubbed its face across that area. But the blue?
I must admit, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, I kind of tuck it away. I figured it might help for identifying later.
Sure thing.
All
A
right.
little bit of info we can get will help.
Yeah, let's go talk to this farmer.
Okay. With your 30 survival checks, I'm not even going to make you roll. You guys know exactly what direction you should be going, and you go that way. You keep the town wall in the distance on your left, and you get into some beautiful, thicker forest here. And you see some wild apple trees here and there, and then you start to see rows of them on one side. Looks like someone's been cultivating an apple orchard out here for generations, probably, knowing how long it takes humans to do stuff.
Time of year for apples?
Yeah. Generally.
I swipe a couple from the wild ones.
Hang on, some people didn't get teleported over. I may have to reload this scene.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can bounce you back to the staging scene and then bounce you back to this one.
No.
Nope. Okay. Pull a refresh for me. Okay. Looks like on reload you're coming in on the right scene. This is,
Seems to be taking its sweet time today.
what's that?
It may be a light problem. It's all black.
It's
But
all
if I
black.
scroll out, I can see the green background.
Okay, if you scroll out, you can see the green background. Let me make sure everybody is in the right location. And back off on the darkness. Undo that. Still have no vision, Nomcath?
No vision.
No vision.
I hear.
You here? All right, I'm going to redo tokens. Goodness. Well, we may have to pause here while I fix this shit.
But there we go.
Okay. Can you see now?
Yep.
Okay. And we're still waiting on Tokala. Just got in. Ulfred needs a load. Eldrin stood us up because he cares about his career. It's very silly.
I guess it's slightly more important than standing us up for go hiking.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Boom!
Shots at
In your face,
McGinnis.
McGinnis.
McGinnis browser's still loading too, right?
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm kind of having the Alfred scenario now. It looks
Okay.
like.
You may be having a little bit of a network problem because you're just slightly choppy. Not
Yeah,
so bad that we
you're
can't understand you.
you're turning into a robot a little bit on Discord.
Okay.
We can understand you just fine.
98%.
Gosh.
I hear trees rustling.
And birds.
Yep.
Well, it partly works. Refresh the observer account too. I think it's DC'd. Well, sorry about all the troubles, gang.
It's fine.
This is a pleasant countryside here. Kind of a nice change of pace.
It's different. It's very different from everywhere else you've been in this country. It's green. It's a little more humid, but not too bad yet. Just kind of the land feels more alive.
Well, should we go find this Jevic character?
Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled for any sign of tracks or disturbances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would say we kind of not be too quiet about it. I have this strange feeling this is one of the guys who might unload with a shotgun or unload with a crossbow first, then try and figure out who's coming up.
Yeah, no sense in trying to be sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys, this road leads through an ever narrowing kind of valley of trees until it comes to a sort of almost like a gateway of huge trees. And then it opens up beyond that. And on your right, you see pretty close to perfectly ordered rows of apple trees running from the south to the north. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 rows close to you. At the end of the lane, you can kind of see a fence that's about 4.5 foot high, 5 foot high, wooden little post fence. The gates are open. And you think at the end of that lane of apple trees, there's probably a house on the right. You can kind of see its roof peeking over some of the trees.
Can we see that thing as we're going down past the trees?
You look into the orchard.
Yeah.
As you look into the orchard, glancing through the trees, at first you're not sure what you're seeing, but it looks like you're seeing a giant mound of fallen trees, but it's, let's see. Nomcath's seeing it from about 120 feet away. To the northwest is this giant mound of snapped wood and fallen trees and debris. And the more you look at it, it looks like a whole area of the orchard, again, 7 or 8 trees deep, so it's hard to see entirely, are toppled and snapped and cleared. Like there's a clearing in the orchard and all the trees, limbs, and trunks were piled into a big pile.
Now, when you say snapped, do you mean less just all the limbs broken off and full logs, and more like these trees have actually been broken into pieces?
Perception check from where you are. Visual. Purely visual perception from here. Nomcath's peeking through the trees at great range. Nomcath, you are looking at, if it were scattered over a greater area, you might think storm, tornado, but they're all kind of perfectly piled into a circular mound or disc of debris in the center of the clearing. And peeking back and forth between the trees, you're thinking it's maybe 30 feet, 20 or 30 feet across, this pile of debris. And you can see several tree trunks sticking out of it that look like they were just sticks broken over somebody's knee. They are just snapped in half.
Something really big or really strong tore down a bunch of those trees and put them in a fairly organized pile. That's something we're gonna want to talk to Javid about, or Javik.
That's for sure.
Okay. And I think we'll pause there. I may take some of the lighting elements out, maybe see if I can drop the resolution of this map. I actually made this map from scratch. It's one of the first ones I ever made in Dungeon Draft. But it might be too high res.
Was anyone else having issues besides Alfred?
Ulfred's internet is, but he's also having heat issues.
Yeah, my everything's just fucked.
Okay, because I was having issues at first too, and then it was fine for a while, but then it got weird again, and I just thought,
Yeah.
maybe, I think we're both in Oregon. Like, is there any reason that would be affecting us and no one else?
It could be. If there's a certain chunk of the internet that's down for the count today, then it would affect you both in a similar way.
Yeah, your voice is cleared up. You're not sounding
Yeah.
choppy anymore.
Mhm.
So
Okay, maybe it was a fluke.
But also, I have to think about internet connections and computer power levels and computer memory and stuff. Because I can very
Right.
easily drive us off a cliff with high res images in Foundry, and I don't want to do that to you guys.
My laptop's really pretty powerful. It's just, yeah, it's overheating, it seems like. And yeah, I think I have some weird settings somewhere.
Well, there's what is it called? Open Hardware Monitor. It's a free utility, and it will tell you the temperature of both your CPU and your graphics card separately. And if you can tell which one or both of them are overheating, then we can figure out if we should turn on. Because if the CPU is overheating, you want to turn on hardware acceleration. That takes some of the load off the CPU to the graphics card. If the graphics card's overheating, then maybe we don't want to turn hardware acceleration on. Something's going wacky between it and Foundry.
Sure.
But either way, if I got to back down on the graphics, it's fine. We can do that. Okay.
all right.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.